how you do it is, so there's two. So there's the live view, and there's your preview. So what I would do is, their camera's here, plug it into her camera.
Hey, what's up, bud?
And then just do a wide, just like an extreme wide shot. So that's pretty cool, ain't it? Being able to do the logo.
That's cool.
And see, the other thing is too, I have these titles too. When I buy them, like the sports titles, they have lower thirds. And that's what I was trying to have with the lower thirds.
And good evening, and welcome to the Owensboro Sports Center, home of the Kentucky Mavericks, presented by the city of Owensboro. Tonight's game is powered by Tanner West, as the Kentucky Mavericks take on the Rochester Razors.
I've been watching up the Wirecast video.
If you're looking for a fun activity for you and your family, then check out the City of Owensboro's Edge Ice Center. The Edge offers public skating hours year-round and is a great place to host your child's next birthday party, youth group outing, or family get-together.
Volume man.
Youth ice hockey, figure skating, and learner skate classes are also available. Conveniently located next to the Owensboro Sports Center, the Edge Ice Center is always the coolest place in town. Visit OwensboroParks.org for information or check them out on Facebook.
See, that's the other thing I like about the Wirecast is you're able to record. See, like right now, that orange.
Expert care at Post-Home. That's for Health Orthopedics. With locations in Owensboro, Henderson, Madisonville, Greenfield Orthopedics is the official sports medicine provider of the Kentucky Mavericks.
The cool thing about this is, all I need to do is be on the same internet. There's Wirecast Cam, and so it'll stream wirelessly to an iPhone or like this. So like we can take your phone and get it on a tripod, so that way you have multi-shot.
Universal Championship Wrestling presents Royal Resurrection.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying about having the computer upstairs.
Get your tickets now online at OwensboroTickets.com. WBHD is the Tri-State's most watched and trusted news. Eyewitness news everywhere you are. Department today at 270-683-1111 for more information on group room blocks and even space rental. Holiday Inn Owensboro Riverfront is a proud sponsor and neighbor to the Kentucky Mavericks. Go Mavs! ESPN Owensboro is your home for Man Up with Coach T. The coach, Steve Tucker, head coach of the Kentucky Mavericks Coaches Show, has heard every Friday from 5:30 to 6 p.m. throughout the entire 2017 PBL season. Is an award-winning design and advertising.
There it is.
And welcome back to the Owensboro Sports Center, everyone. Kevin Porter, my man Ben Parsley, back on the number 2 for the game 1 of the best of 3 series.
The time frame now needs to be on there before, did it? Zeros?
Don't shop all over town when you can shop your hometown. Visit Green River Furniture and Appliances' beautiful new showroom in the heart of Owensboro on J.R. Miller Boulevard to get the best price first. Ask for Ray and tell him the Mavs sent you.
And for our Kentucky Mavs, Steve Tucker. All right, we've had a chance to watch a little warm-up.
Primary care practice of Dr. Jeremy Luckett provides the traditional care you desire with the most up-to-date advances in medical science. If you're looking for a primary care practice that offers same-day appointments for urgent care needs, but also continuity throughout all aspects of care, including in the hospital and in the nursing home, then call 270-240-2305 or visit vineyardprimarycare.com for more information.
It's only going out the.
It's all going out one side?
No, it's coming out of the camera. Change the audio.
Cardiology of Owensboro, the new practice owned and operated by Dr. Rochester. Searching for a heart doctor that you can trust and provides compassionate care, then look no further. Dr. Matthew has a wealth of knowledge and experience and has been well respected and trusted by patients in this community over the last 11 years. Dr. Matthew is now accepting new patients. Call 270-240-2129 or visit advancedcardiology.com for more information.
Was it 8 days for hip roll out?
No, he was right.
No, you can just like here. Audio on the camera from the in. It's a link on the camera.
You can follow the upcoming events at the Owensboro Sports Center by liking us on Facebook and watch for the new Owensboro Sports Center website.
I don't know,
If you need some encouragement to reach your fitness goals, personal training and the health part could be your answer. Their certified training staff can help you stay focused. Ask about personal training packages. Owensboro Health Park, the official health and fitness partner of the Kentucky Mavericks.
You want headphones to check it out? Coming from their end first?
Yeah, you got headphones?
Yeah. You should know better than that.
It's not even showing.
Well, can you go down and tell them they can kind of run something?
Well, they should be recording.
And welcome back to the Owensboro Sports Center, everyone. Kevin Porter, Ben Parsley bringing you all the exciting action. Game 1 of the Best of 3 series for the 2017 Premier Basketball League Championship.
Yeah, I don't think they're talking. I mean, they are because there's levels to it. But you go to the YouTube video.
Did you hear anything coming out of that, though?
See, but when you go to the YouTube video,
Hello? Hear us talking. No, you can hear I've got a cable. I'm going to switch it out. Do I need to go get it? There's a camera down here.
I have a cable too. It doesn't have to be auxiliary, it has to be a line in, right?
Through here?
Yeah.
Yeah, just an 8 inch. I mean, but I have one on my van, and I have an 8.4 inch here too. I have my wireless transmitters too. If I need to go get those, we can transmit it up if we have to.
I mean, he doesn't, as long as it has audio, he'll be
Which you'll outwin the Mavericks very easily, but that's what they're looking at. I'll tell you now, that's what they're going with. But the three-headed monster.
for the protection of the players, officials, and fans. And in the spirit of good sportsmanship, the Premier Basketball League requests that you refrain from throwing any object at participants or onto the court. Such behavior can cause serious injury, and violators will be ejected and subject to arrest. We also remind you that any spectator going onto the court or interrupting play in any manner will be ejected and subject to arrest. We thank you for your cooperation. Also, restrooms are located throughout the arena, and in case of emergency, locate the City of Owensboro Police, who will be throughout the arena. Owensboro Sports Center is a non-smoking facility. Please be respectful of that.
Switch! I'm so awesome. I'm so awesome. I'm living like a boss. I'm so awesome. I'm so
the starting lineup for the visiting Rochester Razor Sharks, the number 1 seed in the 2017 PBL Championship. Starting at guard, number 2, Corey Almond. At another guard, number 4, Jerice Crouch. At guard, number 10, Richard McGill. And another guard, number 11, Melvin Council. And at center, number 14, Jordan Reilly. And now, let's welcome our Lady Mavs dance team, presented by Macon Primary Care and Advanced Cardiology.
Let me hear you say, hey, Miss Snow. Say, hey, Miss Snow. Give me some.
Welcome back to the Orangeville Sports Center, everyone. Kevin Porter, Ben Parsley. We're still dealing with technical issues, Ben, but we are going to keep this game on the air as best we can. Thank you so much for your patience. It's about time for Game 1. Our Mavs versus the Rochester Razor Sharks. Winner gets the 2017 PBL Championship. And man, am I ready to rock, Ben.
I can't wait to see this going. We're calling the starting lineups now. They're going to get the Mavericks come out. The crowd's pumped and excited. It's going to be a show. We'll call it that. I don't think it's going to be a competition. It's going to be a show.
Exactly. All right, let's go over the starting lineups again. For our Kentucky Mavs, the host team for Game 1, Stan Simpson, Ben Vazzola, Chris Hagan, Nicholas Waddell, and Robert Crawford. For the visiting Rochester Razor Sharks, Corey Allman, Jarice Crouch, Rashard McGill, Melvin Council, and Jordan Rayleigh. As always, our coverage all season long is being brought to you courtesy of our great friends at Schwartz Heating and Cooling. Call them today at 270-691-1001 to schedule a maintenance check today. As we said, we've been having technical issues, a lot of static coming in, having some wind issues with our towers outside. We appreciate you bearing with us on this. We're working on this as we speak, but we will continue to keep coverage as our Mavs host the Rochester Razor Sharks in Game 1 of the 2017 PBL Championship. All right, it's about that time, Ben. Any final thoughts? We're getting ready for the national anthem. Any final thoughts?
My final thought, I want to look at a matchup real quick. You see Stan Simpson match up with Jordan Rayleigh, big guys, which means Waddell is going to be matched up with a 6'5 or 6'3 guy. I expect that to be taken advantage of easily.
All right, folks, we're going to go ahead because the playing of our national anthem, we're going to throw it back to the studio for a 2-minute commercial break. When we return, we'll have game time right here on 102.7 The Game. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Orangeville Sports Center, everyone. Kevin Porter, Ben Parsley, we're here with you bringing you all the exciting action as our Mavs host the Rochester Razor Sharks in Game 1 of the best-of-3 series. Now, we are having technical issues, intermittent static, but we are going to stay with you, bring you all the exciting action. And Ed, our engineer, he's on his way over trying to help out, but we promise you we will keep you going as long as is possible. All right, folks, one more time. Starting lineups for Rochester, the visitors, Game 1 of the best-of-3 and defending PBL champs. Corey Allman, Jarice Crouch, Rashard McGill, Melvin Council, and Jordan Rayleigh, our Kentucky Mavs. Stan Simpson, Ben Vazzola, Chris Hagan, Nicholas Waddell, and Robert Crawford. All right, our Mavs are going in their traditional White uniforms, blue stripes down the side, and blue numbering. The Rochester Razor Sharks, the visiting, blue, black stripes down the side, and black lettering. It's time to get it on, Ben.
I like. Yeah, so I can't wait to see these matchups. I love the small versus big. I love the speed both teams have. The Razor Sharks are very veteran, but I think the Mavericks are more veteran than people will give them credit for. Stan Simpson starting, I think, has to do with the veteran aspect to it. He has been around for a while, and he played in the postseason last year a little bit. Did give us fits a few games last year, so I'm excited the fact that he's starting for us now, along with Waddell.
Exactly.
Kicked our butts last year in the postseason.
Exactly, with Lake Michigan.
Yeah, so now he's on our team to help us out. Like, I'm excited to see these two really take advantage of this smaller matchup with the Razor Sharks.
Our Mavericks will be going right to left on your radio dial. Conversely, the Razor Sharks left to right. It's time to get it on, Owensboro, our Mavs. Game 1 of the best of 3 championship series for the 2017 PBL Championship. The ball is up, and the tip is controlled by Council for Rochester. Rochester going left to right, gives it up to Crouch, working against Hagan. Hagan backs him up, top of the arc, into the hands of McGill. McGill down low to Rayleigh. Rayleigh kicks it back out to Allman for 3, missed. Rebound, Simpson over to Vizzola. Vizzola across the timeline. Nobody on the board yet. We are just underway at the Sports Center. Simpson for 14 feet and hits the jump shot. Mavs strike first blood, 2-0, 11:27 and counting in the first quarter.
Vizzola has the Rochester number already, so I expect him to take full advantage of this team.
Back on the attack, going left to right. It is Rochester, the defending PBL champs, working around the arc, looking for a high screen, and we end up getting a foul call. Looks like Stan Simpson got called for the foul. Nope, defensive 3 seconds. What that means in the PBL is it means you get a free throw, and you also retain possession of the ball. Allman will be taking the technical shot for Rochester. He does convert 2-1, 11-12 on the count, and Rochester retains possession of the basketball.
Interesting, Stan Simpson had 1 foot outside the lane, 1 foot inside the lane, but the ref said it's because he didn't move at all.
Council trickles the inbounds into the hands of number 4, Jarice Crouch. Nope, gives it up to McGill. McGill around the arc. Down low to Council from 8 feet. Oh, missed, a little long. Robert Crawford in a battle with Rayleigh for the ball. Ends up winning, pushes the ball across the court. Chris Hagan for the Mavs. Left side of the lane, back up to Waddell in the lane to Simpson down low. Misses the shot, but draws the foul, and will be going to the line.
I like Waddell giving that quick floater up to get a better look down low for a layup, because 1, it gets him in foul trouble, and 2, it gets Stan Simpson going to move the ball around.
As we said, we are having technical issues, so there is some intermittent static, but we want to thank you for bearing with us while we work on that. Is the best of 3 series. At the line, Simpson hits the first. Mavs up 3-1, 10:53 remaining in the first quarter. Now this is the best of 3 series. The scene shifts to Rochester, New York on Sunday, and if needed, the 3rd game the following Tuesday. Simpson converts on both. Mavs up by 3, 4-1. Back on the attack, going left to right. It's the Rochester Razor Sharks. Works across into the hands of Crouch. Double team, gets it across the timeline, gives it up. Oh, and we got a foul. Allman. Robert Crawford playing a little too tight. Draws the quick foul. Too quick.
The Mavericks started off in a 1-3-1 trap defensively. So it's interesting to see it. So Rochester's going to take it off and give it to Crouch on the top of the key. Just swing it over to Allman. Finds the quick inside to McGill, who wide open jumps and missed 2 in a row now.
Rebounded into the hands of Nick Waddell. Pushes it up to Vizzola across the timeline. Vizzola working from the left wing back to midcourt into the hands of Hagan. Hagan waiting for 2 double screens. Vizzola down low, gives it back to Simpson at the free throw line. Down low into the hands of Waddell. Loses control, out of bounds, turnover to the Rochester Razor Sharks. Mavs still leading 4-1 with 10:20 remaining in this contest.
It wasn't like Waddell to not catch the ball
in the
and just
first
go
quarter,
up.
I should say.
Yeah, it was not like Waddell to catch that ball and not go up immediately.
Back on the attack, going left to right. Crouch works the ball across the timeline. Gives it up to number 11, Melvin Council. Council back down low into the hands of Crouch for 3, off the flat, Rebounded. Tipped by Waddell. Back to Robert Crawford. Mavs going right to left. Mazzola from the right wing. Starts to go baseline. Back out to the midcourt into the hands of Hagan. Hagan calls the play. Back to the right wing into the hands of Mazzola. Works around the arc. A long three by Crawford. Ooh, off the side. Rebound, Simpson. Keeps the possession alive for the Mavs to get a fresh shot clock. Dancing in the lane. Kicks it back out to the right wing to Hagan. Hagan towards the paint. Floater and good. Mavs go up 6-1. 9:33 remaining in the first quarter of this best-of-3 championship series.
We've already seen the use of Stan Simpson with the offensive rebound.
Council into the lane, works against Waddell, kicks it over to the corner, and the three is converted by number 2, Corey Allman. Mavs up 6-4, 9:10 remaining in the first quarter. Back on the attack, Mavs going right to left on your radio dial. Hagan looked for the high screen from Simpson. Tries to give it a little give and go, ends up losing the handle. There's a scrum on the floor. Hagan grabs the ball and calls a timeout. Heady play by Hagan on that Ben.
Very smart play. Stan Simpson had the ball, tried to call it, and in the middle of him calling it, lost the ball. And so Hagan dove on and called timeout. And it was unfortunate, but at least we got the ball back. So these early game is very important.
It is very, very important. Folks, we're going to take timeout for a 1-minute commercial break. And when we return, we're going to have you all the exciting action. Game 1 of the best-of-3 championship series. We'll be right back. Back to the play at the Orangeville Sports Center. Quick shot up by Corey Allman. Ends up being rebounded by the Mavs back on the attack. Nick Waddell from the free throw line pulls up and scores. Mavs up 8-4 in this yet early contest. 8:17 remaining in the first quarter.
Stan Simpson has already made his self known with a block shot and an offensive rebound. I think that's why we see him in the starting lineup.
Allman going baseline, ends up running into Waddell, loses control, but it looks like Waddell is called for the foul. Mavs leading 8-4, 8:03 remaining in the first quarter. A couple quick fouls for the Mavs there, Ben, but it's still early. Everybody's still leaving it on the court, and that's all you can ask for.
Right now, the Mavericks are dominating the paint. I think we see the size advantage already, which is fantastic. I'm telling you, Stan Simpson has played a fantastic game in the first 4 minutes. Block shot, offensive rebound. He has a layup. He has a jumper. And it's what we want to see from him at center.
Up off the bench for the Mavs, waiting to come in, Anthony the Jet Jackson coming in for Ben Mazzola. So the Mavs are going with the Jet. Chris Hagan, Waddell, Robert Crawford, and Stan Simpson.
Fun little fact, the Jet has 2 different shoes on.
Yes, he started that on Sunday. One blue on the left, one white on the right. Hey, that rhymes. Missed on the second. Waddell with the rebound into the hands of Hagan. Mavs up 8-5. 3-point lead. The Jet. Hagan back and forth across the timeline into the hands of Waddell. Waddell moves towards the paint. Working against number 10. Rashard McGill and converts. 10-5. Mavs leading. 7:42 remaining in the first quarter. Back on the attack going left to right. It's the Rochester Razor Sharks, the defending PBL champs. Corey Allman with the 3 from the left corner. It's missed. Rebounded. Mavs push it quick across the timeline. Hagan goes down towards the baseline. Jumps into Rashard McGill. No foul called. Simpson loses the handle. Turnover to the Razor Sharks. McGill kicks it out to Council. Council for 3, missed. rebounded by Robert Crawford, and the Razor Sharks have been relying on the three-point shot quite a bit in this first part.
I'm really not too surprised. The three guards are fantastic shooters. I expect us to really find the post guys now for our team.
Robert Crawford into the lane, runs into Jordan Rayleigh, ends up drawing the foul. We'll be going to the line to shoot two with the Mavs leading 10-5, 6:58 remaining in the first quarter.
I expect us to really start feeding Waddell here soon, kind of get him going. He has that open jumper, but he's just outpowering every time he gets the ball against Council, and I think that's the matchup you got to look for.
At the line, Crawford hits the first of two. Now I'm going to step away temporarily while I work on the technical issues with our engineer. Ben, you're going to pick up play-by-play for the moment, my friend.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, so Crawford's going to have one more shot here at the free throw line. He made his first one. Right now the Mavericks are up 11-5 with 7 minutes left to go in the first quarter. And so far it's been a bruiser. I expect it to keep going like that. A nice shot by Crawford. Makes the second free throw. Make it a 12-5 lead, 7-point lead. We're going to do a full court press a little bit. McGill finds up court, finds Allman, find Crouch for another open three, but they're just not hot right now. They keep missing. Out of bounds Mavericks ball going from my right to your left. We're going with a little bit smaller lineup right now. Jackson's running the two guard, which I like that because he's going to be open for a lot of shots. He's going to playmaker from the two. Let Hagan really run the point as a pure passing point guard. There's a turnover. Hagan's trying to find Waddell down low, who had fantastic position. He just was overthrown a little bit. Waddell doesn't have the explosive jump we'd like to see, but outpowers him from the once he's on the ground, which is fantastic. Crouch is going to bring the ball up the court, running point. Hagan's going to give him fits in the backcourt. That's why we have Hagan starting the lineup, you see. Jackson's chasing Almond all over the place. That's the matchup we got to see. The defensive prowess. He's working on him. Finds the ball down low to a substitution. Rayleigh gets the ball down low, wide open. It's a good block shot by Simpson again. He now has 2 block shots already, and there's a second foul on Rayleigh. They're going to get him out of the... Yeah, Jordan Rayleigh now has 2 already. He's out. The substitution, we have Sidney Holmes in, and DeLay Coker also just jumped to the game for the Rochester Razor Sharks. Simpson is having work down low. 2 block shots already in this first quarter. He's going to move quick post up by Waddell. Waddell's going to face up. A couple crossovers. Take it right to the big guy with the fading, and he knocks it down. That's a typical Waddell we like to see, putting it to him. Crouch is bringing the court up again. He gets a high ball screen. Good switch for Waddell. Sims with another block. Crawford with the check down defense. Crouch it's Ullman in the corner. That's my bad. Here's a steal by Chris Hagan. Pushing the ball up the court. He's going to pull it back. They didn't have the numbers. Pull up, jump shot. It's off. Here comes Crouch bringing the ball up again. Crouch is running this team right now. Finding McGill in the corner. He was open. Lost his dribble. Now the Mavericks are having their way defensively. I like this 9-point lead. 14-5 right now. Ullman taking the ball to the basket. It's a good move by Ullman, and no foul. Crawford's going to bring the ball up. We have a 5-on-4 right now as Ullman's on the ground. Let's find the shooter. And one. Good take by Crawford on the 5-on-4. Took advantage of the numbers, and we are now up 16-5 with 5 minutes left to go in the first quarter. Your Mavericks have a nice, outstanding lead led by the defense by Stan Simpson. With that, we are going to take a 2-minute break. We'll be right back with hopefully some fixed technical difficulties. We're going to a 2-minute break. This is Kentucky Maverick basketball on 102.7 The Game, ESPN Radio.
Welcome back to the Sports Center, Mavs fans. Kevin Porter, Ben Parsley bringing you all the exciting action. We do apologize for being away as long as we were. We've been having intermittent static issues. Our engineer Ed's been working on it. We're doing the best we can, but we will stay on the air. And with that, the Mavs lead go up by 11, 18-7, 3:17 remaining in the first quarter, Ben.
We have a new lineup going on right now. Andrew Christensen, Chris Hagan, Josh Johnson, Gerard Vaughn, and Anthony Jackson running the team right now. 3 new subs into the lineup.
Our coverage all season long is being brought to you courtesy of our great friends at Schwartz Heating and Cooling. Call in today at 270-691-1001. And with that, Crouch with the two-pointer and one at the line. Mavs leading 18-9, 3:02 remaining in the first quarter, and we do apologize for the technical issues we've been having. Gone all season, Ben. It never fails.
No, of course it doesn't. Of course, fan favorite just came in, Mike Crane, player/personnel. I love him because he's the vet on the team.
Mavs back on the attack, going right to left. Crane across the timeline, into the hands of Christian, across court into the hands of Anthony, the Jet Jackson. Mavs leading 18-10. Stan Simpson working against number 11, Melvin Council. And there has been a foul call. Looks like a little banging down low. That should be on number 44, Coker, his first foul of the game. Now, Coker, from the last time we matched up, he gives us fits down low because he is a wide body and he has great footwork. But what we're going to do is take time out for a 1-minute commercial break. Basketball on 102.7 The Game. ESPN Owensboro will be right back. Welcome back to the Sports Center, Mavs fans. It's our Mavs hosting the Rochester Razor Sharks. Game 1 of the best of 3 series between our Mavs and the defending PBL champs, the Rochester Razor Sharks, right now. 2:45 remaining in the first quarter. Mavs leading 18-10. As I said, we've been working on some technical issues. We thank our engineer Ed and for all of you for bearing with us throughout this time. Right now, Mavs have possession of the ball. Ready to trigger the inbound, Mike Crane.
He's going to give it into, looks like Anthony Jackson on the point. I like Anthony Jackson running the point again because he gets the ball in his hand more often. There's Mike Crane in the corner. He's going to take it to the basket, find Christensen opening for a short jumper, and he knocks it down. Much needed, get a little bit involved. Andrew Christian. Crouch bringing the ball up again. Anthony Jackson defending. The high screen finds Allman on top. See if they jack another 3. I feel like they're falling in love with the 3, the Rochester is. That's a good block by Johnson.
Good move by Council. Allman into the court to get it in the hands of Coker, but it was blocked by Big G Gerard Devine. Allman, shot clock expiring, gets it up, draws the foul as the time clock was 1 second away. The shot clock was 1 second away from expiring. Folks, as we said, we've been having technical issues. Thank you so much for staying with us. Game 1 of the best of 3 series. It's the Mavs hosting the defending PBL champs, the Rochester Razor Sharks. Yours truly, Kevin Porter, my man Ben Vizzola. Ben Vizzola here. I'm sorry, is it Ben Vizzola? Ben Parsley.
Vizzola's playing on the court.
Vizzola's playing on the court. Glad to have my man back with me who called the games all last season. Allman, the shot is up and good. 2:09 remaining in the contest. Mavs leading 20-11.
Last thing the Mavs want to do is let Allman knock some free throws down and kind of get a rhythm going, because the worst thing a shooter can do for the other team is to get hot from the free throw line. They'll make everything from 3 at that point.
Allman, second shot is up and good. Cuts the lead to 8. Mavs up 20-12, 2:09 remaining in the first quarter. The Jet across the timeline. Ill-advised pass. Ends up throwing it away, trying to feed it into Simpson. Turnover back to the Rochester Razor Sharks. On the court for our Mavs currently as we speak, the Jet. Christian, Gerard Devon, Stan Simpson, and the on-floor coach, Mike Crane. Back on the attack, the Razor Sharks. Coco working down low. Gives it up into the hands of McGill, who loses the handle. Turnover to the Mavs, pushing it across court. Mike Crane in the right corner. Gives it back to the right wing into the hands of the Jet. Working around the arc. Simpson for three off the front of the rim. Rebound by number 11, Melvin Council. Coker with the hand up, does not get the pass. Big G was too tight on him. For three, Council off the front of the rim. Rebounded by Simpson, a collision with Coker. And the foul has been called against Coker. That is 2 quick fouls on Coker for Rochester, the Razor Sharks.
If there's one thing we know about Coker, he's very aggressive. He's going to pick up the fouls early, but it also makes it dangerous because of that reason. Josh Johnson knows that he has the advantage in the speed there. He's going to take it and just run with it, and I love it.
Mavs with the inbound. Stan Simpson triggers it in. To the Jet, walks it across the timeline. Coach Tucker is way past midcourt. He's shouting out instructions to his squad. High screen from Big G on the Jet. Jet gets tied up, dishes it to Gerard. Three-pointer off the backside of the iron. Rebound Coker into the hands of Rochester. Crouch pushes it up court. He's cut off by Mike Crane.
There's good defense by Crane on that fast break. Crouch could have taken it to him and tried to get the... And that's an out of bounds underneath. It's a wild shot by Crouch.
It was a wild shot. It was partially blocked as well, but he did step on the baseline. Turnover. Back to the Mavs, leading by 8. 55 seconds remaining. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Mavs leading by 8. Anthony, the Jet Jackson, walks it across the timeline. He's taking his time. Waves off the high screen for Big G into the paint against Coker and scores with a left-handed layup.
He can
Mavs
do that
up by 10.
He can do that all night long if he tried.
Little full court pressure, kind of mock full court pressure there. Simpson working against Council. Going to make him earn it as he gets it across the timeline. Council with Simpson against the high screen. Around the corner, right-handed lay-in. Beautiful move to hold off the defender for Melvin Council. 22-14. Mavs leading by 8. 23 seconds remaining in the contest. Six-second differential between the shot and game clock. There will be at least one more possession for Rochester. The Jet running time off the shot clock. Down to 7. Pulls up for 3. No good. Rattles out. Rebound by Big G. In the paint. Turns around. Right-handed. Rolls out. Rebound by Christian. Tries to get it back out for a shot, but off of the leg of Allman. Mavs will have 2.8 seconds remaining in the first quarter to get off the final shot of the first quarter of Game 1 of the 2017 PBL Championship.
It's getting pretty loud in here because Coach is all the way at half court and he's been warned twice now to get back to his box, which means it's loud in this gym right now. He's trying to yell at his team.
Mike Crane triggers the inbounds into the hands of Big G. Gerard Devon. Pulls up for 3. Oh, over the back of the rim. And as time expires, that's 1 quarter down. Game 1 of the 2017 PBL Championship. Mavs up by 8, 22-14. We're going to take timeout for a 90-second commercial break. After we remind you, you're listening to Kentucky Mavs basketball on 102.7 The Game. ESPN Owensboro will be right back. And welcome back to the Owensboro Sports Center, everyone. Kevin Porter, Ben Parsley bringing you all the exciting action as our Kentucky Mavs play host to the Rochester Razor Sharks, the defending PBL champs, game 1 of the best-of-3 series. The scene shifts back to Rochester for games 2 and 3. All right, Ben, here we are. End of 1. Mavs end up winning the first quarter by 8, 22-14.
Yeah, what it comes down to is field goal percentage. The Razor Sharks are 4 for 18 from the field. The Mavericks are 9 of 17, which means we're shooting plus 50. They're shooting minus 30. It's not good.
Very surprising for the Razor Sharks. Mavs have the ball to open up the second quarter. The Jet inbounded from Big G, Gerard Devon. Across the timeline, working against that man, Jarice Crouch. Waiting to heat up for the Razor Sharks. Stan Simpson working down low against Coker. Into the paint, right-handed late shot, missed. Rebound into the hands of Rashard McGill. He gives it up to Jarice Crouch. Across the timeline, working against. Gets the high screen from Coker. Pulls up from 14. Missed. Off the back of the rebound, backboard into the hands of Mike Crane. Crane pushes it across the timeline. Looking to get it down low to Simpson, but Simpson's tied up. Back to the top of the arc in the hands of Robert Crawford. Working around the arc. Finally ends up in the hands of Big G, Gerard Devon. Lower left block. Nice spin move, turned and missed. Rebound by Coker. Mavs up 22-14, 11:06 remaining in the first half. Crouch, just like that, goes coast to coast. Left side layup with the right hand missed. Rebound by Crawford, who wastes no time getting it into the paint. Pulls up for the 12-footer. Partially stripped. Mike Crane fighting against Coker for the ball. Ends up going out of bounds off the hands of Coker of Rochester. Possession remains with our Kentucky Mavs. Mike Crane to trigger the inbound. Gets it into Anthony the Jet Jackson going up against Jarice Crouch. Lower right corner, back to the right elbow. Kicks it back to the right wing into the hands of Crane. Crane look for the high screen, waves it off. Goes baseline, back out to Big G Gerard Devon. Takes it down the lane. Right-handed layup off the back of the iron. Rebounded by number 14, Jordan Rayleigh. Gives it up to Crouch. Crouch kicks it across court for 3, and that does drain for the Rochester Razor Sharks, Melvin Council. And I think Coach Tucker said, I'm not going to give him a chance to heat up at all.
There's a good chance just to cool them off real quick and kind of slow this game down. I think the Mavericks want to walk the ball up the court. And because we have the size advantage.
We're going to take time out for a 1-minute commercial break after we remind you you're listening to Kentucky Mavs basketball on 102.7 The Game. ESPN Owensboro will be right back. Welcome back, Mavs fans. Kevin Porter, Ben Parsley. Got it right that time, my man. Bringing you all the exciting action as our Kentucky Mavs are in a battle royale. We knew both teams were going to be coming heavy, Ben. Mavs leading by 5, 10:22 remaining in the first half, 22-17. Thank you so much for sticking with us, Mavs fans. We've been having technical issues. We're going to keep the game on the air, bringing you all the exciting action, but we do appreciate your patience. Mavs with possession coming out of the timeout. Back into the lineup, Nick Waddell.
And Ben Vizzola. Vizzola this time.
On the court, Simpson, Crawford, Vizzola, Waddell, and the Jet. Waddell into the hands of Crawford, kicks it across the timeline to Vizzola, the Las Vegas native. Back to the Jet, midcourt, waves off the high screen. Working against that man that is sticking to him like flypaper, Jarice Crouch, kicks it over to Robert Crawford. Robert Crawford trying to get it down low to Simpson. Simpson wheels around, Beautiful move, but is called for the travel. Turnover back to the Rochester Razor Sharks.
He must have left his feet a little bit on that spin move because he looked like he kept his pivot. All he had to do was just bounce a little bit, I guess. He had the smaller man. Should just went up on him.
Sidney Holmes trickles the ball in for the Rochester Razor Sharks. Jarice Crouch working against the Jet. Gets it across the timeline. Double high screen for number 11, Melvin Council. Kicks it back over to Rayleigh. Oh, missed the three. Rebound by the Jet, who's wasting no time. Gives it up to Simpson. Back to Vizzola. Vizzola goes up and under. It's missed. Ratted around. Ends up being pulled down by number 11, Council for Rochester. Kicks it over to the corner to Crouch. Down low into the hands of number 12, James Helton, who pulls up for the 10-footer. 22-19. Mavs lead has been cut to 3.
We got to get a little more defensive pressure. They're running on us a little bit. We got to slow the game down way more.
Game 1 of the best-of-3 series as our Mavs play host to the defending PBL champs, the Rochester Razor Sharks. It's Vizzola kicking it down low into the hands of Nick Waddell, working to work into the paint. He does. Gives it up to Simpson. Nice little give. Simpson with the easy layup. Mavs lead back up to 5.
That's a beautiful pass.
24-19. That was a beautiful thread between two defenders. Yes, it was. Ball in the hands of Jordan. Works it around the arc. Gives it up to number 4, Jarice Crouch. Working against Anthony, the Jet Jackson. Intercepted on the attempt to Helton by Simpson. Easy jam. Mavs up 26-19. The lead, 7 again, 8:35 on the clock, and the coaches for Rochester are not happy about something. I did not see what might have happened.
It hit off of Simpson's chest, and he was coming back. He gave it to the sideline ref and sent it back to the post. But they just called a foul on Jackson on the inbounds pass.
On the inbounds pass. You don't see that very often, do you?
Not in the full court.
Rochester with the trigger of the inbounds. Sidney Holmes for Rochester.
That just shows how bad the Mavericks want it. Look at all the pressure Jackson's giving him up front.
Into the game now, Deverell Biggs for the Rochester Razor Sharks. Last time we played them, when he heated up, he was almost impossible to stop. Rochester working around the arc. Gets the high screen from Holmes. Council down low. Oh, and just inside, took the step just inside the three-point arc by Helton. Cuts the lead to 5, 26-21. The Jet down the lane, and just like that, draws the quick foul against the Rochester Razor Sharks. First on Deverell Biggs.
Jackson's talking to the Rochester bench a little bit over on the sideline. I loved it.
I love the gamemanship. Ball triggered inbound from Vizzola into the hands of the Jet. Back to Vizzola, runs the full baseline to the left wing. Working against Helton, pulls up from 14. Way too long, way too strong. Rebound by Jordan Rayleigh.
Vizzola wants to get going so badly. He's taking some poor shots right now, just trying to get a shot in.
Council for the 3, missed rebound. Long rebound, but ends up losing the handle. Crawford back down the line. Lane Council, left-handed, right-handed, left side lay-in.
It took a solid 3 steps through that. I don't know how he's able to get away with it, but
he gets that European step, did he or did he not?
He spent $40 on that travel ticket.
And faked the 3, kicks it over into the hands of Vizzola, who does pull up for 3 off the front of the iron. Mavs up 26-23, 7:22 remaining in the first half of this contest.
A couple substitutes coming to the game. Corey Wilford.
Christian County's own Corey Wilford.
Corey Wilford makes appearance, and then Ivy for the Razor Sharks steps in too. He's the potential rookie of the year playing for the Rochester Razor Sharks. So we'll see if we can handle him this time. He's small, but takes advantage of us. Last game he did. I like Wilford guarding him right off the bat.
Razor Sharks going left to right. Biggs working against the Jet, kicks it over into the hands of John Ivy. Works around the arc all the way back to Biggs, pulls up for 3, too strong, rebounded by Robert Crawford, the Jet. He's not going to waste any time. Across the timeline, but has it knocked out of his hands by Biggs, out of bounds. Possession remains with our Kentucky Mavs. 19 seconds on the shot clock, 6:58 remaining in the first half.
Jet's proven that he's not lost a step, even though he's a little bit older now. He's not losing that step. He's still fastest one on the court.
Jet does not know anything. He has first gear where he's standing still and sixth gear where he's wide out. He has nothing in between. Back on the attack and into the lineup. Hagan for our Mavs dishes it off to Christian County's Wilford for 14. Oh, yeah, beautiful jump shot. That's what you want to see. Corey is a pure shooter.
You want to see someone get hot quick. That's what you call a microwave.
Mavs leading by 5, 28-23, 6:41 remaining in the first half. Biggs waves off both high screens into the free throw line, kicks it way out to the right side. The shot missed by Holmes, but the easy putback by Biggs. Cuts the lead to 3, 28-25, 6:24 remaining in the first half. On the floor for the Mavs, Hagan down low to Waddell, working against 2 defenders. Powers up, gets it partially stripped, hacked on the arm, will be going to the line, and it looks like that was against.
Alan James Hilton.
Against Helton.
Against Helton. Okay, because I thought for a minute there it might have been Jordan Rayleigh, but
That
it
would
was
have been really
called
nice.
against Helton.
It would have been nice to give him his third, but they went ahead and took it at Helton. Helton put his hand up, went and took it for him.
Good teammate.
It was a good teammate.
Willing to take the bullet for
We didn't want to see it, but
No, we did not want to see that.
Waddell's a pretty good free throw shooter. I expect him to knock both of these down, though.
Great touch. And so you jinxed him, just
I won't-
like that,
I won't-
off
I'm
the
so
back
sorry.
of the iron. Back of the iron.
You get all the play-by-play at this point.
I was about to say, back on the mic for the first time, and you jinxed Mr. Pure free throw shooter,
I'm so
Nick
sorry.
Waddell. Mavs leading by 3, 28-25. Waddell at the line, sizes up his second free throw attempt, and he does have great touch. And converts.
That looked better.
Mavs lead by 4, 29-25. Back on the attack, Rochester. It's Biggs working against Hagan. A tough battle and gets a little too tight. On the defense, call for the quick foul, his second foul. Something you do not want to see because these guards for Rochester will put you to the test. You don't want to give up easy fouls for our point guards that we cannot afford to lose.
I think that was on purpose, though. You notice they've been really aggressive on their guards. I think it's because they want to out-physical them right now and show that we're in control of this game.
And a little miscommunication there on the inbounds. Rochester looking to inbounds the ball. Nobody came back to get the inbound pass. So they called a quick 20-second timeout. All right, folks, here's the scene. 6 minutes, 10 seconds remaining in the first half of Game 1 of the best-of-3 series. For the championship, the 2017 PBL Championship, it's our Kentucky Mavs playing host to the defending PBL champs, the Rochester Razor Sharks. Now, Game 2, the scene shifts to Rochester, New York. The Razor Sharks have home court advantage for Game 2 on Sunday, and if necessary, Game 3 the following Tuesday.
What do you think? We do a raffle and one lucky fan will get to pay for our tickets to go watch the game?
Wouldn't that be nice? And for our equipment fees to carry with us
of
on the
course.
plane. On the private plane, of course.
Oh, of course.
Back on the attack. Helton, right wing, kicks it back to the top to Biggs, works it around into the hands of Jordan. Jordan Rayleigh gives it up to Ivy, working against Hagan. Ivy back to Jordan Rayleigh, pulls up for 3 and converts. Nope, they only gave him the 2. They said his foot was on the line. Mavs leading only by 2 now, after going up by as many as 11. 29-27, 5:40 remaining in the first half. Back on the attack. Our Mavs, Nick Waddell works into the paint. Beautiful right-handed move. Gets the kiss off the iron and in. Mavs up by 4, 31-27. Biggs working against Hagan. Gets past him, kicks it back over in the corner into the hands of Helton. And Helton pulls up for the 3. Cuts the lead to 1. 31-30, 5:13 remaining in the first half. Mavs back on the attack, going right to left. Down the lane, Hagan for the scoop shot. Woo, and he does get the shooter's touch off the back of the iron. 33-30. And just like that, Biggs takes it coast to coast. Missed almost a putback by Helton. But we have a foul. Looks like we might have had a foul called there.
Yeah, they did call a foul on
They
Simpson.
actually did call a foul on Stan Simpson.
They're called a full timeout now.
And a full timeout. And with that, we're going to take timeout for a 1-minute commercial break after we remind you you're listening to Kentucky Mavs basketball on 102.7 The Game. ESPN Orangeboro will be right back. Welcome back, Mavs fans, to Game 1 of the best-of-3 series as our Mavs play host to the defending PBL champs, the Rochester Razor Sharks. Yours truly, Kevin Porter, alongside my partner from last year, Ben Parsley, made the drive down from Indianapolis. Man, let me tell you, they cannot say that we're not Mavs fans. You drove down from Indy. I'm in here with an upper respiratory infection, but we're still going to get this game on. Even with technical difficulties, we're going to make sure Mavs fans get to hear all the exciting results.
Nothing will stop us from speaking the word of the basketball court.
That's right.
Nothing
the
will stop
basketball gods have
Nothing will
shined
stop
upon us. All right, folks, let's set this up as we come out of the timeout. Our Mavs leading by 3 at 1 point, up by as many as 11. 33-30, 4:57 remaining in the first half. On the court for our Mavs, Corey Wilford, Christian County's very own. Robert Crawford, Stan Simpson, Nick Waddell, and Chris Hagan.
But right before we called that timeout, there was a foul by Stan Simpson. We were kind of confused what was going on. We talked about it in between. They call a foul. I don't know if they called an over the back from a defensive perspective or what, but Chichester's going to get 2 free throws here for whatever reason, and there was a foul. We don't know where it came from, but we're going to take it.
Yeah, even the players at the time, they were a little confused, but they said, hey, if you're going to give me a free throw, I'm going to take it. And he does convert Chichester on the first. Mavs up by 2, 33-31. Chichester, should he convert, cuts the lead to 1, and it's getting nice and tight right before the half bin.
I don't expect it to last too much longer. Waddell's going to take over, and exactly what we expected, a second missed free throw.
That's right. He missed the free throw. Rebound by Waddell into the hands of Hagan, playing with 2 fouls, working against Biggs. Double team, gets the ball into the hands of Crawford. Back to Hagan, working around the arc to Corey Wilford, down low. To Nick Waddell, the former Lake Michigan Admiral, working into the paint, spins around, kicks it out to the right wing to Wilford, pulls up for 3. Oh yeah! Money from heaven, baby. Drained that 3. Mavs back up by 5. 36-31.
I called him a microwave earlier. There's a reason for it. Don't let him make a shot or two.
Ivy kicks it down low to Rayleigh. Rayleigh goes in. Oh, it rolls off the rim. Rebounded by Simpson. Quickly into the hands of Hagan across the timeline. He's going coast to coast. Tried a funky behind-the-head pass. Intercepted by Ivy. Ivy going up against Wilford. His lay-in does eventually drop. Cuts the lead to 3, 36-33. 4 minutes remaining in the first half of a wild first half, and you would expect nothing less. Game 1 of the 2017 PBL Championship. Hagan fakes the 3. Corey Wilford does not. And in the middle of the scrum for the rebound, looks like Nick Waddell got the foul on Chichester. Nope, called it on Helton.
Well, Helton's smiling about it. Helton pushed him. I think Waddell flopped a little bit because they're both laughing about it now, but we'll take the foul all the same. It sure looked like it was.
And with that, Waddell is taking a seat into the game. Anthony, the Jet Jackson, Josh Johnson back into the lineup for our Mavs, and that's what we want. We want Josh to light up because this guy's got a pure stroke for a big man. Inbound trigger from Wilford at the Jet. Gives it back up to Wilford.
Wilford's the hot one right now.
Back to Josh Johnson. Turn around. Oh, it gets a little bit of a tip. I couldn't tell if Simpson got a little hand on it after the first bounce or not. It does count. No interference. 38-33. Mavs leading with 3:26 remaining in the first half of Game 1 of the best-of-3 series. Rayleigh for 3. Misses it totally. Hits the backboard, but rebounded by Ivy. Kicks it back to Biggs. He loses control. A hack is called on, looks like Robert Crawford or on the Jet?
They called it on Crawford.
Robert Crawford, okay. Second foul on Crawford, still non-shooting for the Razor Sharks. Mavs only have 4 fouls. Team fouls in this contest to this point. Ball triggered inbound into the hands of Biggs. Holmes running across the free throw line. Ivy down low, gets it up to Rayleigh. Rayleigh working against Simpson. Into the paint, spins around. Nice little up and under there. Got it in just underneath the expiration of the shot clock. Mavs leading 38-35. 10:54 remaining in the first half of this contest. Back on the attack, our Mavs going right to left on your radio dial, wearing their traditional white uniforms with the blue stripes and the blue numbering. Ill-advised pass from Wilford. He was expecting Crawford to go one way, threw it out of bounds, turnover, back to the Razor Sharks. And with that, we've got timeout for a 1-minute commercial break after we remind you you're listening to Kentucky Mavs basketball on 102.7 The Game. ESPN Owensboro will be right back. Welcome back to the Owensboro Sports Center, Mavs fans. Kevin Porter, Ben Parsley bringing you all the exciting action as our Kentucky Mavs play host to the defending PBL champs, the Rochester Razor Sharks. We are 2 minutes and 43 seconds away from the half. Mavs a very slim 3-point lead, 38-35.
That's exactly what we thought. It was going to be a very defensive battle game. Both teams are the top 2 teams in defense. So I'm not too surprised right now.
Ivy working against Corey Wilford, gets the screen from Chichester, ends up on the baseline and gets the put in. Lead cut to 1, 38-37. The Jet enters back quickly, gets it across the timeline, waves off the high screen. Wilford cutting across the free throw line. Simpson does come up high at this time. Off the screen, the give and go, into the paint, a tie-up, but Simpson keeps control, kicks it over to Johnson, back to Crawford. He gets in the lane to the free throw line. Beautiful floater, but missed, gets his own rebound. Powers back up, but is called for the travel.
It's interesting. I've seen a couple travels down low. I wonder if they're just jumping a little bit and picking up that pivot foot, because it doesn't look like travels, but yet they're calling it. You don't see 2 travels in a pro game.
Turnover back to Rochester. This is the first opportunity for the Razor Sharks to take their first lead of the contest. 38-37, Mavs up by 1, 152 and counting in the first half. Top of the arc, Rayleigh for 3, and nope, actually only 2 just inside the 3-point arc. The first lead for Rochester, 39-38. Mavs back on the attack. Simpson turns around, faces up Rayleigh, converts on the 12-footer to regain the lead by 1, 40-39.
Simpson says, Rayleigh, if you can do it, I can knock him down too. You're not the only one with a jump shot.
Biggs across the timeline, working against the Jet. Almost stripped by Wilford. Beautiful cup and right-handed layup. Now we're just going back and forth. 1-point lead, back to the Razor Sharks, 41-40. Crawford for 3 for the Mavs. Oh, looks like he got hit. Nothing was called. Missed everything altogether. He was expecting the call on Helton, but did not get it. Turnover to Rochester, leading by 1, 41-40. 1:10 remaining in the first half of this contest. Back on the attack, going left to right on your radio dial, wearing their blue uniforms with the black stripes. It's the Razor Sharks. Ivy from 12. He converts, extends the Rochester Razor Sharks lead to 3, 43-40. Mavs looking to get back quickly. It's the Jet into the right wing, looking for a high screen from Simpson. He gets it, pulls up for 3, off the back of the iron, rebound by Rayleigh. Gives it up to Ivy. Ivy quickly across the timeline, pushes it up to Helton, up and under, missed, but rebounded by Chichester. Put back, missed, rebounded by Josh Johnson, almost stripped. Simpson grabs it, controls it, pushes it up to Corey Wilford, cross court to the Jet. The Jet gets trapped between 3 players into the paint, kicks it lower left corner to Crawford for 3, and rattles it home. Tied up, 43-43. 19 seconds remaining in the first half. Crawford. Final shot of the contest will go to Rochester. As the time counts down, shot clock has been turned off. It's Biggs against Wilford. Biggs gets the screen from Rayleigh. Rayleigh tries to jump into Simpson, misses the three. Air ball into the hands of Robert Crawford, and at the half, as we expected, Ben, a hard-fought contest. We're all tied up, 43-43. All right, folks, we're going to take time out for a 3-minute commercial break, and when we come back, my man Ben Parsley is going to have the halftime stats. That's a 3-minute commercial break in Game 1 of the Best of 3 2017 PBL Championship. After we remind you, you're listening to Kentucky Mavs basketball on 102.7 The Game, ESPN Owensboro. We'll be right back. to PBL Commissioner Dennis Truex is listening to the broadcast. Commissioner Truex, thank you so much. We appreciate all you do for the Premier Basketball League. All right, folks, we are tied up, and no surprise there at the half. 43-43. It's 24 minutes to take game one of the best-of-3 series for the 2017 PBL Championship. We are about 4 minutes and 33 seconds before the start of the third quarter, so we're going to take time out for a 2-minute commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to set the scenario for the second half of game one of the best-of-3 series for the 2017 PBL Championship after we remind you you're listening to Kentucky Mavs Playoff Basketball on 102.7 The Game. ESPN Owensboro. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Owensboro Sports Center, Mavs fans. Kevin Porter, Ben Parsley bringing you all the exciting action as our Mavs are in a battle royale. We know both teams, Ben Parsley, we're going to come heavy tonight. So we're not surprised to see them tied up at 43 each at the half.
I'm not surprised that they're tied up at 43 each. I'm really not surprised that they're tied up at 43 each.
Thank you.
They're not going to be scoring much. Both are defensive-heavy teams. The Razor Sharks lead the league with only allowing 85 points a game. The Mavericks are number 2 at 95. I know it's 10-point difference, but defense is defense. Both teams pride themselves on shutting it down. I've really praised Stan Simpson. I didn't think he played well when I watched him play the Razor Sharks last time, but I really praised the way he's playing today. He's blocking shots, making steals, rebounding well. More importantly, he's leading the team in scoring, which means he's putting the ball in the back of the net.
You better believe it, my friends. You better believe it. All right, folks. In this half, the Mavs will be going left to right on the radio dial, conversely right to left for the Rochester Razor Sharks. The visitors from Rochester wearing their dark blue uniforms, black stripes down the side, and black numbering. That always makes it tough on us trying to keep it up with that.
Yeah, it really does. It's hard to see those numbers sometimes, especially when you get like 32, 33, 34, which they have numbers of all three of them. You can't really tell which one's which.
So we do mean no disrespect to the Rochester fans out there following this contest. If we get the name wrong, we'll always admit it, we'll correct, we'll do what we have to do. The Mavs wearing their white uniforms, blue stripes down the side, and tonight usually most of the guys wear their red shoes, but there's a plethora, you like that word, plethora, of shoes out on the court. You got the Jet wearing one blue left shoe, one white shoe, which he also wore in last Sunday's 12-point victory over the Ohio Bootleggers to advance to the best-of-3 championship series. All right, folks, it's 24 minutes to decide Game 1 of the best-of-3 for the 2017 PBL Championship, and our coverage all season long. And regrettably, this will be our last game on the air for the Mavs for the 2017 season. Is brought to you courtesy of our great friends at Schwartz Heating and Cooling. Call them today at 270-691-1001 to schedule a maintenance check today. Schwartz Heating and Cooling and Bryant doing whatever it takes to see our Mavs take the Premier Basketball League championship. Ben, that first 24 minutes was as hard fought as I've seen all season from all the games we've done for the Mavs. This is going to be a dogfight. We said they were coming heavy, and believe me, both teams came heavy.
I'm waiting for a little chippiness to come in from both teams. There hasn't been anything too bad as far as
No,
really
not at all.
hard hits or inappropriate fouls, or we've seen Waddell cracking it up a little bit with some of the players on the court, which is nice because normally he's the one that's the bull of it all.
Yeah, you better believe
Jackson was talking to the bench. These teams know each other at this point. They've played each other multiple times. They know each other real well. But I expect the second half, there's going to be a hard foul coming in, and it's not going to look pretty, and it's going to get rough. I expect it to come quick.
Mavs with possession to start the third quarter. Waddell triggers the inbound to Hagan. On the court for the Mavs, Hagan, Waddell, Crawford, Simpson, and Vazzola, Mr. Las Vegas, who turns around and faces up. Beautiful from the free throw line. 12-foot shot. Mavs up by 2. Good way to start the second half, Ben.
Put him on skates. He had a nice little crossover and just literally broke his defenders for a wide open free throw jump shot.
Rayleigh up to the left wing, working against Simpson, tries to give it down low in the hands of Crouch, pulls up for the 12-footer, missed. Rebounded by Vazzola. Vazzola across the timeline, gives it up to Hagan. Hagan thinks about going against Rayleigh, and he does. Missed the shot. Rayleigh with the rebound, gives it up to Crouch. Crouch has Waddell and Crawford in his way, splits the defenders, right-handed layup. 45-45, and I have a feeling we're going to be doing a lot of back and forth the last 24 minutes of this contest.
Well, I know Mavericks had an 11-point lead in the first quarter, and it was 8 at the end of the first quarter, but I expect it to be back and forth. No one gets more than about a 5-point lead here the second half.
Vazzola working against Allman, goes in for the jam, partially blocked by Rayleigh. Gives it up to Crouch, works it across the timeline, to Council, to Crouch in the lower left corner. Three-pointer missed, rebound by Crouch to Allman for 3. That's missed. Rebound by Waddell. Almost got it to a little headbutting there with Hagan. Luckily, nobody was hurt there. Hagan across the timeline.
Thanks goodness they missed 2 jump shots. They were wide open, 2 wide open threes.
Stan Simpson working against Rayleigh, goes underneath the basket, draws the foul on Rayleigh. And I do believe that'll be his, is that his third?
That's his third, but that was all on his body, too. He didn't get any foul with his arms. It was all body pushing him out of bounds.
Folks, you still have time to get down to the Sports Center. We still have an entire half of exciting PBL championship tournament play going on. My man Ben Parsley drove in from Indianapolis. You're going to be driving back tonight as soon as the game's over.
Yes, sir. And it's a 10-minute drive to the Sports Center to watch the Mavericks play for the last time in the next 9 months. So I think it's time to get here.
It's time to get down to Mav up, Owensboro. Hey, I'm here, upper respiratory tract infection. You're here from Indianapolis. The teams are here, too. That's a good thing. And with that, Simpson converts on 1 of 2 to give the Mavs a 1.46-45 lead. 10:26 and counting. Couch across the timeline, working against Waddell down in the paint. Nice little turnaround. Swatted around a couple times. McGill goes up, swatted by Vazzola. Again, rejected, but that time a foul was called. Looks like it's going on Ben Vazzola. Going to the line for Rochester will be McGill. And the fans are voicing their displeasure with that call. They thought it was a clean block.
I love it, getting the crowd involved like this. I love it.
McGill with the first one up and converts, and we are tied again. 46-46, 10-12 remaining in the third quarter. This is game 1 of the best-of-3 series. Scene shifts to Rochester, New York, the Razor Sharks home court, as McGill converts on the second. 47-46, Razor Sharks will host game 2 on Sunday. If necessary, game 3 the following Tuesday. Across the timeline, Crawford gives it up to the lower left corner into the hands of Waddell. Kicks it back up to the top to Vizzola. Back to Waddell. Waddell faces up to Rayleigh, pulls up for the 14-footer, and converts. Mavs regain the 1-point lead, 48-47.
Just about when Waddell took over last. Ooh, okay.
Oh, and just like that, Jerice Crouch O'Council answers with the three-pointer.
It's a quick way to shut me up, huh?
Yeah, quick way to shut both of us up to take a 2-point lead, 50-48 Rochester. Hagan gets trapped in the corner, gives it back up to the right elbow to Simpson. Shot missed. We got a tie-up underneath the basket, and it looks like McGill and Waddell banging around down low, going to have a foul call.
Well, Waddell has about 40 pounds on him and 2 inches, so McGill's doing everything he can. He's going to call for a couple fouls like that, but that's everything he has against Waddell.
Ben Vizzola to trigger the inbounds. Gets it into the hands of Robert Crawford, lower right corner, working against Council. Works towards the paint, does not give it up. Jump shot jumps into the body of number 14, Jordan Rayleigh. No, I'm sorry, number 11, Melvin Council, but is called for traveling.
Now
Turnover, back to Rochester.
That's the third travel tonight they've called, but that was the first one. I think that was correct call because he definitely took an extra step there to try to get that shot off.
9:19 remaining in the third quarter. Mavs down by 2, 50-48, game 1, best of 3 series for the 2017 PBL Championship. And just like that for 3, number 11, Council. It's missed. Into the hands of Waddell. Gives it up to Hagan, up the right side of the court, across the timeline. Back to Waddell, top of the arc. Going left side to Vizzola for 3. Oh! That's what you want to see. Mr. Las Vegas, lighting it up from NBA deep.
I think you're about to see him get hot. Find him again. In the rhythm.
Exactly. Mavs take the lead again, 51-50. Back on the attack, going right to left. It's the Razor Sharks. Allman working against Vizzola. Pulls up for 3, off the front of the iron. Rebound by Crawford. Gives it up to Hagan, up the left side of the court. Gets the high screen from Waddell, waves him off. Down the right side of the arc, tries to give it up to Simpson, who pulls up from the right elbow and converts. Mavs up by 3, 53-50, 8:20 remaining in the third quarter.
Simpson's taken that shot a couple times, going to make him honest. He's going to make a drive here in a second, just posterize him.
Rayleigh working against Simpson, goes up, double pump, and gets him off his feet, so he will be going to the line for an and one and a chance to tie this game up 53-all. Should he convert. Folks, we want to thank you for bearing with us tonight. We've had some technical issues, but we have kept the game on the air. According to my man working the board back in the studio, none other than 97X Rock Jock Jordan Rose, the Viking. Big thanks to him for helping keep us on the air as well. We are going to stay with you for every second of this exciting Game 1, best of 3 series. At the line, Rayleigh. The first one is up, and missed. He does not convert on the and one. Mavs maintaining the slim 1-point lead, 53. Long full court pass. Crawford going baseline, tries to go up and under, turns around against Rayleigh, kicks it back out to the top of the arc to Hagan for 3, and he hits. Mavs up by 4, 56-52.
The Mavs have hit 4 shots in a row now, so it's a good sign.
Council working against Hagan, looks to get it down low to Rayleigh, working against Stan Simpson of the Mavs. Turns into the paint. Little move to side, right-handed hook shot. Nice, but does not convert. Rebounded by Vizzola. Mr. Vegas gives it up to Hagan across the timeline. Hagan dumps it down low to Waddell, goes in against 2 defenders, gives it up to Simpson coming from the behind, trailing. Ball lost control. It's on the floor. It's a scrum. We have a tie-up. It will be a jump ball between, looks like, Rayleigh and Stan Simpson. But Simpson looks like he got like a little bit of a knock to the face there. He's kind of holding his nose in his shirt right now.
That was a little scrum for the basket. I'm really not too surprised. Waddell went to throw that pass a little bit stronger, just kind of lost its grip.
But as you talked about earlier, Ben, I'm very proud of both these teams. They've kept their emotions under control. We haven't had any ugliness on the court. I mean, they're playing like you would expect 2 professional teams to conduct themselves, and that's very admirable for both of these squads.
I'm assuming they probably both had a warning already from the refs and their coaches and probably the PBL saying, you guys have 3 games here to not screw it up. Let's be gentle.
Simpson for the Mavs. Helton for the Razor Sharks. It's up. Mavs control the tip, almost control the tip. McGill takes it from Vizzola. Long across court pass into the hands of Helton. Pulls up for 14, hits the shot, cuts the Mavs lead to 2, 56-54, 7-10 remaining in the third quarter. Mavs back on the attack. going left to right on your radio dial. Hagan, right elbow to Crawford, working against Council with a nice fake, goes in the lane, but loses the handle out of bounds. Turnover to the Rochester Razor Sharks.
That was a good head fake by Crawford. It's nice to see him have a post game too, since to open him up for a three-pointer here in a minute.
Everything we could expect from this matchup between two powerhouses has come true so far. Council for three from the left wing, missed. Rebounded by Vizzola. Vizzola across the timeline. He's going coast to coast almost. Kicks it over to the left side to Crawford for three. It's short. Almost rebounded by Waddell, but is taken by McGill. Gets it across the timeline. Dishes it down low to Council. Easy, unopposed layup. Now we're tied up again. 56-56, 6:23 remaining in the third quarter. Across the timeline, Mavs going left to right on your radio dial. It's Crawford into the lane against Council. Fingertip roll, no good. Off the rim, rebounded, pushed up court into the hands of Crouch. Goes in against Waddell. Right-handed, left side lay-in to regain the lead for the Rochester Razor Sharks. 58-56 at the 6-minute mark of the third quarter.
Coach T's yelling at Hagan to speed this game up. They want it faster because right now we're just beating up the court, which means we're being slow.
Mavs with an ill-advised pass from Hagan off the fingertips of Simpson, out of bounds. Turnover to Rochester. And with that, we're going to take time out for a 1-minute commercial break after we remind you you're listening to Kentucky Mavs basketball on 102.7 The Game. ESPN Owensboro will be right back. Welcome back to the Owensboro Sports Center, Mavs fans. Kevin Porter, Ben Parsley bringing you all the exciting action as our Mavs are in a hard-fought contest against the defending PBL champs. Right now we're at game one of the best-of-3 series. 5:47 remaining in the third quarter. Mavs down by 2, Ben, 58-56.
Yeah, it's been a really tough game so far. The Rochester Razor Sharks just went on an 8-0 run after we went on an 8-0 run. So it's kind of what they talk about in the NBA. We can put it in the Premier League too. It's all about the runs. Who can make the run toward the end? Mavericks got to get it to go though. It's 3 bad turnovers in a row that sparked that run by the Razor Sharks.
And what has become a pretty much common theme in a lot of professional sports, especially in the NBA. A lot of times it looks like this is going to come down to the final 2 minutes to decide this contest. Should one of these teams, so should they remain as close as they currently are, with Rochester going right to left on your radio dial, leading by 2. 58-56, 5:44 remaining. Crouch waves off the high screen from Rayleigh, gets it again, faces up against Waddell, back into the lane, right-handed layup, and good. Extends Rochester's lead to 4. 60-56, 5:30 remaining in the contest. Mavs left to right on your radio dial, working around the arc. Eventually, down low, Josh Johnson gives it up to the give and go to Waddell, but a foul is called before. On number 14, number 12. I saw 14 from the referee, but they said it was Helton. Mavs trigger the inbound. Vizzola into the hands of the Jet on the court with Big G, Gerard Devon, Josh Johnson, and Nick Waddell for 3. Oh, yeah. Mr. Las Vegas. Ben Vizzola answers, but only given a 2, said he was just inside the arc. Mavs down by 2, 60-58. 5:06 remaining in the third quarter. Rochester going right to left, and a foul. Battling down low. Nick Waddell against Sidney Holmes. Waddell called for the foul, getting a little overzealous, trying to keep the pass from being fed into him.
I'll tell you what happened is Holmes pulled the lawn chair on him.
Yes.
Yeah, he pulled it up and tried to back
he
away.
did.
Made it
Yes,
look like he
did.
pulled him away.
Helton to trigger the inbounds for the Razor Sharks. Gets it into the hands of Jarice Krause working against the Jet. High screen from McGill. Pulls up for three. Holmes misses. Rebound by Vizzola. Vizzola across the timeline. Gives it up to the right wing into the hands of Josh Johnson. Behind the back dribble. Into the paint. Turnaround. Two defenders in his face. Called for a travel. That has got to be what our fourth or fifth travel call on the Mavs trying to make their moves in the paint tonight, Ben.
Again, I don't think that's a travel. He's kept the right pivot foot the whole time. He's just spinning in a circle trying to find someone, and I think the refs just got tired of watching him go in circles.
Exactly. Crouch working against the Jet, gets it across the timeline, gives it up to Helton. He's called for a travel.
It's another travel.
Turnover, right back to our Kentucky Mavs, trailing by 2. 60-58, 4:38 remaining in the third quarter. 16 minutes and 38 seconds of professional basketball remaining to decide the winner of Game 1 of the best-of-3 series. And I'm really feeling, Ben, this is going to come down to the final 2 minutes, if not 90 seconds of the contest.
I
the
agree.
way these guys are going back and forth.
I agree. I would like to see an overtime game, but then again, I'd rather Mavericks win it in regular time. I gotta get back to Indianapolis.
That's right. You got a long drive ahead of you, my friend. Mavs back on the attack. Josh Johnson working against Helton. Moves in towards the lane, pulls back out from 3. Too hard off the backboard. Rebounded by Allman. Allman way long down the court pass. Into the hands of Crouch for the unopposed lay-in. 4-point lead, 62-58, 4:09 remaining. Ben Vizzola working against Allman. Gives it up to Waddell.
And one.
Oh, does not go in. But Josh Johnson with the putback. And will they give him the and one?
Okay.
Nope,
So
going to the line. Whoop.
they called the foul on. They called the foul on Rayleigh. So this could be his fourth foul, and Waddell's going to shoot free throws.
And just like that, up off the bench, Coker coming back into the lineup for Rochester. Waddell will be going to the line for 2, trying to cut into that 4-point Rochester lead, 62-58, 4:02 remaining in the third quarter of Game 1 of the best-of-3 series. Waddell sizes up and converts.
You notice I didn't say anything about his free throw
Yeah,
shooting.
that time that's right. That time you kept quiet. I give you all the props for that, my
I
man.
wanted to say something. I was like, nope.
Well, Waddell does have great touch. He really does for a down low banger. He was also moved out to the stretch 3 this year, so he had to do a lot more facing up against the defenders, and you can really tell it in his play now. Waddell, second shot, sizes up, release, and good. Cutting the lead to 2, 62-60, Rochester at the 4-minute mark of the third quarter. Razor Sharks unopposed across the timeline. Coker, top of the arc, gives it up to Crouch. Crouch going against the Jet. Gets the high screen from Holmes, pulls up for the 14-footer, missed. Rebound by Crawford, gives it up to Vizzola. He's breaking away against Crouch. Fingertip roll, we are all tied up. 62 all at the 3:37 mark of the third quarter. Nice move by Crouch into the lane, pulls up for the 4-footer, it's missed. Tapped around, ends up being knocked out of bounds by Holmes for the Razor Sharks turnover to the Kentucky Mavs.
That's going to be the key here in the next 4 minutes, so 3.5 minutes to give us a lead going into the fourth quarter. Because we got to outrun them. Right now we're beating up the court every time. We have to outrun this team.
Almost a steal, and it is a steal by Crouch on the pass from the Jet. We get a tie-up. We will be having a jump ball. That's one thing I do love about the PBL, as opposed to the NBA that just has alternating possessions. I like the jump ball. I mean, I'm sure the players might have their own opinion. I just like it.
I think it puts a different aspect on it.
Mavs and Razor Sharks. Game 1 of the best-of-3 series. Remember our coverage all season long. And regrettably, this will be the last game of the season for our Mavs playing in the PBL championship. They will be returning to Rochester. It's the Jet. Ends up winning, but nope, into the hands of Allman. He won the tip, but it went right to Allman, gives it up to Helton for Rochester. Helton has his strip by Vizzola. Vizzola held and hacked by Corey Allman, trying to keep him from the easy breakaway lay-in. And knowing Vizzola like we do, it would have been a showboat jam had he been able to go coast to coast.
Well, I think Coach T was yelling for a intentional there because there was no play on the ball at all. It was strictly a hold, clear path foul or an intentional foul, all the same. But we didn't get the call. At least we have the ball and go up here.
On the court for our Mavs, Rizzola, the Jet, Waddell, Crawford, and Big G, Gerard Devon. 3:07 remaining, all tied up at 62 apiece in the third quarter. The Jet tied up, gives it up to Big G, top of the arc, drives into the paint, spin move, working against Coker. He's called for travel. I have never seen this many travel calls ever in any kind of professional basketball game, but they know better than we because they're right there, I guess.
I haven't seen this many since I was watching high school ball.
There you go. And with that, we're going to take time out for a 1-minute commercial break after we remind you you're listening to Kentucky Mavs basketball on 102.7 The Game. ESPN Owensboro will be right back. Welcome back to the Owensboro Sports Center, Mavs fans. Kevin Porter, Ben's Parsley bringing you all the exciting action as our Mavs once again are locked up with the defending PBL champs, the Rochester Razor Sharks. 62 all, Ben. We knew it was going to be a dogfight down to the finish. We've said it from the start. Both teams were going to come heavy, so I'm not surprised it's this close, this tight, this much back and forth.
I expect it to be like this, like you said, the rest of the game. It's going to come down to the last 90 seconds to a minute here just to see who is going to take control of this game. It's been tight and, again, defensive-minded the whole way.
Very surprising for two teams that can put so many points on the board. No team has yet to have just had a breakaway and just take control like that. Now, the Mavs at one point were up by 11. Back to the action. Razor Sharks going right to left. Crouch triggers the inbounds into the hands of Allman. Allman working against Robert Crawford. Kicks it to the left elbow over to number 33, Holmes. Back out to Crouch in the left wing, working against the Jet. We've got a weave through the middle. Number 2, Allman, back down low, working in the paint. Coker loses the handle, regains possession, kicks it over to 33, Holmes, misses the shot. Rebound eventually into the hands of the Jet. The Jet across the timeline. He's down the paint. He's not wasting any time. Coast to coast, left-handed layup. Mavs up by 2. But Allman tries to answer with a 3. It's missed. Rebound by Vizzola. He gets banged around by Coker, or by Holmes across the timeline. He's going coast to coast. Beautiful, beautiful floater. Beautiful floater. Mavs up by 4. 66-62 at the 2:03 mark of the third quarter.
Well, I've noticed this lineup for Rochester having Coker and whoever number 33, Holmes. They can't keep up with us at this point. They're too big.
Yeah, it looks like the speed is going to be the difference in this matchup. We got Coker working down low. He barrels over. Big G, Gerard Devon, takes the charge, hits the deck, doing it all, leaving it on the court for the Mavs. That is his third foul on Coker. Already got one big man in trouble. Now Coker has 3. So we're starting to have an effect on the down low game, which makes sense considering they keep, filtering the ball to the post guys.
That's what happens when you play 4 guards and just one center over and over again. One center is going to get in some foul trouble pretty quickly.
Mavs back on the attack. Vizzola triggers the inbound into the hands of the Jet. Also with Crawford, Waddell, and Devon on the court. Game 1 of the best of 3 for the 2017 PBL. Crawford, left wing, standing there against Council. Finally drops it down low. Turnaround jumper by Big G. Missed, rebounded by Crouch. Crouch is going to take it up the left side of the court, coast to coast. Thinks twice about going towards the lane. He sees the Jet in front of him. Over to the right wing. Trying to dump him down low into the hands of the big man Coker working against Gerard Devon. Turnaround shot, missed. Rebounded by Crawford. Kicks it up to the Jet. Jet pushes it across the timeline. Lower left corner. Waddell facing up against Allman. turns his back. He's banging into the paint. Right wing to, Fazzola for 3. Mavs up by 7, 69-62, 53 seconds, and just with that, trying to get the ball across the court. Number 2, Allman for Rochester. Loses the handle, turnover. Back to the Kentucky Mavs. Mavs leading by 7, 69-62, 52.2 seconds remaining in this contest, and it has been a game of spurts, Mr. Ben Parsley. Luckily for us, the Mavs just went on a big old, 8-point run.
It's all about the effort plays, right? So we had an offensive foul on this end, and then we had an open dunk by Fazzola earlier. Fazzola gets a wide open 3 from Waddell, finding him open, who knew it was going in before he even shot it. You realize he put his hand up for the 3
before
it ever even left his hand?
He almost turned around and walked off and just did one of those shots, you know?
It's one of those things. The Mavericks have their groove right now. The slowness of the Razor Sharks without Rayleigh out there to protect the basket is the difference right now. As long as Rayleigh's on the bench, the Mavericks have a good chance of just running away with this. I think we just found the key. Put the big guy on the bench.
Without a doubt, because Coker's been having a hard time working against Big G, Gerard Devon. They've been banging down low, and it has been the difference, a down-low game. On the court for our Mavs, Josh Johnson, the Jet, Vazzola, Crawford, and Big G, Gerard Devon. A little bit of pressure, nothing too major. Jet gets it across the timeline, no problem. Breaks the defense. Down low to Big G, goes up. The ball smacked out of his hands from behind, misses the shot into the hands of Allman. Kicks it over the left wing to Crouch for 3. Missed everything, but rebounded by Helton. Gives it up to Coker. Right-handed shot missed, but he does draw the foul on Big G, Gerard Devon.
His first.
I don't know about that foul either, but, I mean, again, they're out there watching, not me, and it's their call, not mine.
Mavs leading by 7 with 31.4 seconds remaining in the third quarter, 69-62. I'm very surprised, a low-scoring game, but we knew 2 top-flighted defenses like this, they were really going to throw everything they had out in the court because this is it. Best of 3.
Yeah. Coker has a really smooth stroke here. Let's see if he makes the second one, too.
For a big man, he converts in the first and hits the second.
Really hoping I jinxed him like I did earlier.
Exactly. Cuts the lead to 5. 69-64. A little token pressure. Mavs able to get across midcourt, no problem. Josh Johnson gets tied up with 2 defenders. Almost throws it away. Saved by the Jet. Jet going up against number 4, Jarice Crouch. They've been going toe-to-toe, mano-a-mano, nose-to-nose all game long. Down the lane for the Jet. Throws the shot up off balance. Rebound by Coker. Baseball pass to Allman, who goes coast to coast but misses. But the putback by McGill cuts the lead to 3. 69-66. 3 seconds remaining in the third quarter. The Jet tied up by 2. Does not get the shot off. He lost track of time.
He wasn't paying attention.
As the third quarter expires. At the end of 3, our Kentucky Mavs are leading 69-6 over the Rochester Razor Sharks. We're going to take time out for a 90-second commercial break after we remind you you're listening to Kentucky Mavs basketball on 102.7 The Game, ESPN Owensboro. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Owensboro Sports Center, Mavs fans. Kevin Porter, Ben Parsley bringing you all the exciting action as our Kentucky Mavs play host to the defending PBL champs, the Rochester Razor Sharks. We are 12 minutes away from our Mavs holding home court serve. Ben, one thing as we get back to play, I want to say that really surprises me. Mavs only leading by 3, shooting 50% from the field as opposed to 37% by the Razor Sharks.
Just comes over to turnovers. They're getting more shots than we are.
Getting those second and third shot attempts as well. Ivy back into the contest and immediately strikes for the 10-foot jump shot. Cuts the lead to 1. 69-68, 11:38 remaining for game 1 of the best of 3 series. Hagan gives it up to Vizzola. Vizzola in the right corner, down the baseline, back into the paint. Across the defense to Waddell. Waddell working into the paint against a much bigger Coker, goes in, rattles out. Rebounded by Coker. Back into the contest also Biggs. Up court to Chichester. Nobody getting back on defense for the Mavs. And just like that, Mavs are down by 1. 70-69, 11:07 remaining in the third quarter. In the contest. Back on the attack, the Mavs with Mike Crane. Stan Simpson working against Coger. Gets tied up by 2 defenders. Still working. Ends up having the ball knocked out of his arms, out of bounds. By looks like number 25, Biggs. It was out of bounds, but the Mavs only have 5 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Down by 1. Vizzola triggers it into Simpson. Turn around, blocked by Coker. Pure block. He was right there in his face.
Well, Simpson's getting frustrated. He got fouled a couple times that last possession, so he was just jacking whatever he could up. Instead, he got blocked.
Biggs across the timeline, gives it up to Coker. A little behind the back pass to Biggs. A little give and go. Tries to get it around the edge of Simpson, but kicked off the foot. Coker goes up for the 2-pointer. It's missed. Knocked out of bounds on the rebound by Simpson. Possession remains and a fresh shot clock for the Rochester Razor Sharks. Biggs back on the court will trigger the inbound. Council coming down low, being guarded by Ben Vizzola. Hagan in his face. Council runs the baseline. Ivy breaks free, gets the inbounds.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Ivy got tripped going to the basket. They call a foul on Mike Crane. That's Mike Crane's first. Made a nice move by Ivy to the basket. There's a reason he's going to be the Rookie of the Year for the PBL.
Well, the way he split the defenders,
though.
oh, yeah, what he split the defenders was actually very beautiful. Great footwork on his part. Council inbounds, gets it back, gives it up to Biggs, working against Hagan. Working around the arc to Ivy, and he is their deep threat. Dumps it into Chichester down low, draws the foul against Waddell. He will be going to the line with the Mavs down by 1, 70-69, and that is 4 on Waddell. We do not need that.
No, we do not. We got to keep his post game. And luckily, it's already the fourth quarter, so he's not in too bad of foul trouble yet. Mavericks need to, find a way to get to the post and kick it open to the 3 right now. We're getting open to the post, but getting blocked over and over again. We got to find a better way in the offensive end.
Josh Chichester at the line for the Rochester Razor Sharks. First shot is up and missed. Razor Sharks maintaining a slim 1 point. 70-69 lead with 10:18 remaining in the contest. This is game 1 of a best-of-3 series. Chichester one more time, sizes it up, trying to convert in the second, and does. 2-point lead, 71-69. Back to the action. Mavs on the attack, going left to right on your radio dial. Hagan kicks it over to Crane across the timeline to Vizzola. He's looking to put it up, and he does. Off the back of the iron, rebound by Council. Council gives it up to Biggs for Rochester. Coming across the timeline, unopposed. Hagan picks him up in midcourt. Almost loses control when he almost runs into Coker. He is wheeling and dealing in the lane. Little left-handed floater. Does not convert, but does draw the foul on Ben Vizzola. That is his second foul, though.
These backup guards for Rochester are very quick and very fast. It's hard for our guards to keep up with them. They're not as strong, not as big, but they're just a little quicker.
Well, Ivy in that last contest, he started lighting it up, and when he lit it up last game, that was what ended up costing the Mavs that final contest between the two of them a few weeks ago on that Thursday night matchup. I'm sorry, Saturday night matchup.
Right.
At the line, Biggs, first shot up. Oh, strong on that one. Surprising because he has great touch. Shooting around 82% from the free throw line. 9:52 remaining in the contest. Mavs down by 2. 71-69, and it's beginning to look more and more like we said, Ben. This is going to be a final 2 minutes of the game. Who makes that final big run to pull out the victory in game 1 of the best of 3?
We just made ourselves faster putting the Jet Jackson out with Mike Crane together. That's a combination we've been playing together for probably the last 5 years. It's nice to see him playing.
Biggs misses both shots. 71-69, 9:47 remaining in this contest. Great turnout at the Sports Center. Crane looks for the high screen from Simpson, goes baseline, kicks it way back out to Hagan, who goes back into the paint. The floater rattles out, rebounded by Biggs. Big ups the court real quick to Ivy. Ivy back into the lane, almost trips over the Jet, gives it back to Biggs at the left wing, at the left corner, from the left wing actually. Trying to get it down low to Coker, working against Waddell, maybe looking to draw that 5th foul. Biggs into the paint, loses control as he tries to dump it down low to Ivy, out of bounds. Turnover, back to the Mavs, down by 2, 71-69, 9:17 remaining in this contest.
That's great defense by Mike Crane, chasing around the young Ivy. You're talking old and young chasing around, but he kept up with him and got the steal, turned into a turnover.
This has been a stellar performance by both of these teams. Tempers have not flared. Everybody's being very professional, letting their shooting speak for themselves, and just like that, the Jet shot rattled out, rebounded by Waddell, back in. We are tied up again, 71, all at the 8:52 mark remaining in this contest. Biggs across the timeline working against Hagan. Waves off the high screen from Coger. Kicks it over to Helton. Helton back to Coger. He's going to drive. Stolen by Crane. Crane has only Helton in front of him. Goes in, stripped out of his hands, knocked out of bounds. No foul call. We are all tied up at 71 each, and with that, we're going to take timeout for a 1-minute commercial break after we remind you you're listening to Kentucky Mavs basketball on 102.7 The Game. ESPN Owensboro will be right back. Welcome back, Mavs fans, to the Owensboro Sports Center as our Kentucky Mavs are in a hard-fought contest against the defending PBL champs, the Rochester Razor Sharks. Kevin Porter, Ben Parsley made the big drive down from Indytown to help call tonight's game. A big shout-out to James Herzog on vacation in Gatlinburg. You know, you never know sometimes the postseason gets moved around. You already had your vacation set. You got to go.
I mean, you don't have to go.
Well, you don't have to go.
I mean, this is pretty important. You can move your
But,
vacation.
you know, you put down deposits, non-refundable. These kind of things kind of weigh into it.
Yeah, what is money?
Exactly. Hey, our coverage all season long, and a big thanks to, and this is regrettably our final broadcast of the 2017 Kentucky Mavs season, has been brought to you all season long, courtesy of our great friends at Shorts Heating and Cooling, the official sponsor of our Owensboro, Kentucky Mavericks, and home with the best price guarantee. Back to the action. Mavs going left to right. The Jet triggers the inbounds down low to Josh. He gets banged, loses control, ends up landing on Ivy, who the ball hits, and he's called for out of bounds. Possession remains with the Mavs, tied up by 1 with 18 seconds remaining in this contest.
It took me a solid 15 seconds to realize that the ball went out of bounds and Mike Crane didn't get fouled earlier, because I thought for sure that's what it was.
The Jet on the inbounds to Simpson. He is hacked.
It's out of
Knocked
bounds
out of bounds again. Okay, knocked out of bounds again, so the Mavs one more time. 17 seconds on the shot clock. The Jet triggers it. gets the ball into Hagan. Hagan with a little spinning around, working against Allman. Pulls it back out, decides to reset. Running the baseline is Crane. Down the left side of the lane, it's Hagan. Floater missed. Almost a putback by Simpson, who 3 attempts is not able to convert, but does draw the foul on Coker.
Simpson stands about 4 inches taller than everybody on the court now, so he literally just skied over every one of their players trying to get that ball down. It was impressive to watch.
At the line for our Mavs, Stan Simpson, who joined us the last third of the season after coming home from Greece, playing over there professionally. And he converts on the first of 2. Mavs regain the lead, 72-71. 8:17 remaining in this contest. I want to thank all of our listeners for sticking with us earlier in the contest. We had technical issues. We were able to work those out. Hopefully, we'll stay good for the remainder of the game. Just like that, misses the second shot, rebounded. Eventually ends up in the hands of Allman, who gives it up to Ivy across the timeline. Back to Allman. Allman gives it to Coker, top of the arc. Looking to get it into Helton, who's waved off. Ivy, left wing, working against Hagan. Down low, Chichester with the turnaround spin move against Josh Johnson. Misses the shot, but draws the foul.
That was on Josh Johnson, his second.
Johnson did everything he could on him. Johnson's given up about 30 pounds on him there. Chichester has a nice post game. Johnson's more of a shooting for, not the post up for.
Mavs leading by 1, 72-71. Chichester at the line for Rochester, the defending PBL champs. Shot is up and rattles home. We're all tied again at 72 each. This in a very low-scoring, hard-fought contest, because we're used to seeing our Mavs break the century mark usually almost by the end of the third quarter. Chichester for the second to take the lead, and he converts.
You said earlier this is the final game of the season. This is my first.
That's right. That's right. Leading by 1, 73-72. Our Mavs down by 1. 7:54 remaining in the contest. They break the press. Get it down low to the baseline. Eventually to Simpson. Kicks it back out to the left wing to the Jet for 3. Oh, yeah. Mavs back up by 2. 75-73. Ivy works across the timeline against Hagan. Waves off the high screen by Coker. Pulls up for 3. Missed. Rebounded by Johnson. Johnson gives it up to Crane. Eventually in the hands of the Jet. The Jet across the timeline. Coach T calls out the play. High screen from Simpson. But Allman, I thought Allman was called for the foul, but no. Stan Simpson's going to be called for the trip. That is his 3rd personal foul.
I missed that completely. I looked down for a second to look at a number, and next thing you know, we're back on defense.
Non-shooting, inbound by Helton into the hands of Ivy. That got the gun on him. If this guy lights it up, we're going to be in trouble. Ivy kicks it over to Allman, who pulls up from 3 from the left wing. Missed. Rebounded by Simpson. Gives it up to the Jet. He's going coast to coast. Hagan, left side of the arc from the wing. 3-pointer. It's good. Mavs up by 5. 78-73. Ivy tries to answer back. Oh, and a clean strip by Hagan. But he is called for the foul against Ivy.
His 3rd and the team's 5th.
3rd foul on Hagan.
From this point on, Rochester.
I think Ivy knew he got stripped there and just surprised they called the foul. Look, Ivy's giving a high five saying, good steal.
Yeah, a little bit of a bailout by the referees on that one.
The referee clearly bailed him out because Ivy knew he got fouled. He knew he got it clean.
Helton gets it into Allman. Allman working against the Jet, gets a high screen from Coker. Top of the arc, decides to go to the left elbow, pulls up, hits the jump shot, 14 feet out, working against Simpson. Mavs lead cut to 3, 78-75. 6:40 remaining in this contest. Game 1 of the best of 3 series for the 2017 PBL Championship. Hagan gets the high screen from Josh, gives it back. Josh into the lane, bangs into Helton, throws it up anyway, will be going to the line to shoot 2. That called against John Ivy, who was trailing on that one. I thought for sure that one was against Chichester, but no, they called it against Ivy, who was trailing on that move. Coming back into the lineup for our Kentucky Mavs, Mr. Vegas, Ben Vazola. At the next whistle.
Look at he's come in for Josh Johnson at some point.
Mavs up by 3. This is game 1 of the best of 3 championship series for the 2017 Premier Basketball League Championship. The Rochester Razor Sharks, the defending champs. And like that, Josh Johnson converts on the first of 2. Up by 4, 79-75. Crowd favorite, Ben Vizzola back into the contest. And this guy, sometimes the only thing I worry about him, Ben, is that he's going to jump out of the gym. He gets so pumped up sometimes. Second shot missed. Rebounded eventually by Helton. Helton gives it up to Ivy. Ivy up the right side of the court, across the timeline, working against Hagan. Kicks it over to the right. 3-point attempt by Allman, missed. Rebounded by the Mavs. The Jet across the timeline. Gets the play from Coach Tucker. Mavs, slim, 4-point lead. 79-75, trying to run some time off the clock. The Jet going toe-to-toe for the 3 against Allman, with Allman in his face. 81-75. 6-point lead at the 5:49 mark.
Jet's going to make a statement. This is his house, and everybody knows it.
Ivy working against Hagan. Wheeling and dealing, pulls up for the 12-footer, misses. Into the hands of Stan Simpson, gives it up to Hagan. Mavs with the 6-point lead. Hagan decides to pull back after looking like he was going in the paint, but he does anyway. And he goes in against Ivy, draws a foul. I was worried about that one because Coker was coming over ready to swat that big time.
Timeout on the floor.
And with that, the Mavs leading by 6 at the 5:30 mark. We're going to take timeout for a 1-minute commercial break after we remind you you're listening to Kentucky Mavs basketball on 102.7 The Game, ESPN Owensboro. We'll be right back. And welcome back, Mavs fans. It's game 1 of the best of 3 series for the 2017 PBL National Championship. Our Mavs leading at the 5:30 mark. Game 1, up by 6, 81-75, and it looks like it's going to go toe-to-toe, neck and neck, nose-to-nose, every ridiculous analogy I can think of, Ben. It's going to be that tight till we get to the end of today's contest.
We're up by 6 right now. I hope it doesn't. I'd love to see the Mavericks go and pull away and make it a 10-point lead in the next 3 minutes here.
Yeah.
So the last 2 minutes, 30 seconds, we can just shoot some free throws and get out of here.
Mavs are going left to right on your radio dial, wearing their traditional home white uniforms with the blue stripes down the side, the blue numbering. Conversely, the Razor Sharks going right to left, wearing their blue away uniforms, black lettering and black numbering and black stripes down the side. Going to the line for the Mavs will be Chris Hagan, who was hacked on that last play right before we went to a 1-minute timeout. Our coverage all season long, and we thank them so very much, has been brought to you courtesy of Schwartz Heating and Cooling. Schwartz Heating and Cooling in Bryant, doing whatever it takes to see our Mavs take the Premier Basketball League Championship. Mav up, Owensboro. Hagan misses the first of 2. Second is up, converts, extends the lead to 7, 82-75. Clock running at the 5:30 mark. Working across the timeline, Allman going toe-to-toe with Hagan. Gives it up to Crouch, who's got the Jet in his face. Working back and going for the high screen back into the contest. Rayleigh into the contest and foul trouble. Stripped by Vizzola, who pushes it up to Hagan. Goes in, left side lay-in. Oh! Off the front of the rim, but an interception by the Jet. Kicks it right corner to Vizzola for 3. Oh! That would have brought the house down. Missed, rebounded by Crouch, who barrels into Hagan, and looks like Hagan's going to be called for the foul.
Hagan came up limping on the layup on the other end. I think he twisted his ankle on the landing because he barely, all he could do was stand in front of him. He couldn't move side to side at that point. He is hurt, not in his ribs, but in his ankle for sure.
There comes Ted, the trainer, up off the bench. He's heading out across the court to make sure Hagan's okay. He was signaled over by the referees. Hopefully he's okay, maybe just tweaked it a little bit, but he did actually have a similar incident in last week's playoff game against Ohio where he tweaked that same ankle.
We said it was about to get rough. I think there it was. You just had a full football tackle.
You know, that kind of rough, I don't mind.
No.
It's just long. We just don't want any ugliness on the court, and both these teams have maintained their utmost professionalism on the court, letting their basketball speak for itself. There's been no ugliness. There's been no chippiness, no chirping, no nothing. These guys have actually been playing, conducting themselves in a very, very professional manner. And with that, nope, did somebody call a timeout? Looked like head coach Chris Iverson was going to call a timeout.
Yes, Chris Iverson is calling the timeout.
Chris Iverson has called a timeout. Head coach of Rochester. With that, we're going to take timeout for a 1-minute commercial break after we remind you you're listening to Kentucky Mavs basketball on 102.7 The Game. ESPN Orangeburg will be right back.
All right. We're going to do this contest number.
Welcome back, Mavs fans. It's game one of the best-of-3 series. The championship series is our Kentucky Mavs' second year in the Premier Basketball League, are looking for their first championship. And, of course, as you've been listening throughout the entire broadcast, Rochester is the defending PBL champs. Game one here. We've got to hold serve on our home court because games 2 and 3 are in Rochester, upstate New York, home of the Razor Sharks. Right now the Mavs leading by 7, 82-75, 4:56 remaining in this contest. Jerice Crouch on the line for Rochester. First shot is up and rattles out. Thought he'd get the shooter touch there for a minute, Ben, but it did not drop.
And luckily for us, we have a solid 7-point lead right now. I don't know if you notice, Corey Wilford is in for the Mavericks right now.
And if he gets a hot hand, it could be all over with. As we know, Corey starts lining it up, the Christian County native.
We have 3 hot shooters on the court between Wilford and the Jackson and Vizzola.
Shots up and misses both. Rebound by Simpson. Gives it up to the Jet, working against Allman. Across the timeline, Mick Waddell left alone. Corey pulls up for 12, misses. Rebounded, ill-advised. Looks like Waddell had a wide-open lay-in, but he did not take it. Crouch down the left side of the lane, draws the foul against Stan Simpson, and will be going to the line.
This ref closest to us has called almost every foul that's a shooting foul, no matter where he's at on the court. That was not his foul to call.
Now, one thing, too, and you know from having called these games before, when you're ahead, a stopped clock is your enemy.
Yes. Points when the clock's not moving is not what the Mavericks want right now.
And exactly what Rochester wants. The more they can stop the clock, the more trips to the free throw line, the better opportunity they have to get back into this game one of the best-of-3 series. Second shot is up and good. Mavs lead, cut to 5, 82-77. On the court for the Mavs, Hagan, the Jet, Waddell, Vizzola, who gives it up to Waddell from 12 foot on the left, misses. Rebound by Allman, almost steps out of bounds but maintains possession. He's going to bring it across the timeline. Solo, nobody gets up to him, so he pulls up for 3. It's missed. Over the top of Vizzola, no rebound. Helton with the second and third shot eventually converts. cutting the lead to 3. When you get 3 or 4 attempts, you're going to eventually convert, Ben.
I think it's time to take it to the low post and try to get a layup out of this.
Mavs up by 3 at exactly 4 minutes remaining in this contest, 82-79. The Jet looking to get it over to Vizzola, going toe-to-toe with that man Allman. Down the left side of the lane, the floater, no good. Rebounded by Rayleigh, gives it up to Crouch. Down corner to Allman for 3, and we are tied again. 82 all. And with that, Coach Tucker is up off the bench and calling for a timeout. 7-point lead. Just like that.
Just like you said, a stop clock is not what we need, and then Allman got 2 wide open 3-point shots from bad transition defense. That's what it comes down to. We
are all tied up at 82 each, and with that, we're going to take timeout for a 1-minute commercial break after we remind you you're listening to Kentucky Mavs basketball on 102.7 The Game. ESPN Owensboro will be right back. Welcome back to the Sports Center, Mavs fans. Kevin Porter, Ben Parsley bringing you all of the exciting action as our Kentucky Mavs are all notched up 82 apiece against the defending PBL champs, the Rochester Razor Sharks. Mavs only their second season in the PBL, looking for their first championship and actually their first championship series. That would be a heck of an accomplishment should they be able to pull that off.
Yes, it would, but I think it's the start of something good. Just getting knocked out last year prematurely, it's nice to see us battle back with a brand new team, basically.
3:32 remaining in the contest, notched up 82 apiece. Hagan working against Allman, trying to get the ball down low to Waddell, but he's tied up. Vizzola comes up over top, unable to get to him as well. Eventually, into the hands of the Jet. Pulls off from the right wing for 3, off the side of the rim. Rebound by Rochester.
That's not the shot that we were looking for. Setback 3 was not what we were looking for.
No, he was a little off balance as well. Crouch working against Vizzola. Down the left side of the paint, he is blocked. Back into the paint, gets tied up. Gives it up to number 33, Holmes. It's stolen by the Jet. He's going to go coast to coast. Missed, but rebounded by Hagan, who goes up and under. He does not convert. The Jet rebounds. A third attempt. It's missed, but a foul is called, it looks like, on Rayleigh.
I don't know what the foul was. There was a couple fouls there. Who do you think is shooting?
Yep, that one was called on Holmes. That was called on Sidney Holmes for Rochester. That is actually his first foul of the contest. And that's good news for Jordan Rayleigh, who's in foul trouble.
Bad news for the Mavericks. You'd rather be on Rayleigh.
Yeah, very true. Very true. We are all notched up, 82 apiece as the Jet converts on the first of 2 free throws. 2 minutes, 47 seconds remaining in this contest. Also the final home contest for our Mavs as the scene shifts back to the home court. Razor Sharks for game 2 and 3 of this best of 3 series. The Jet at the line. First shot is up and rattles it home.
That was interesting. He shot and made the first one. Then they said, no, he's not supposed to be shooting it. So they said Hagan would shoot it. And they said, no. I'm still confused what they're calling it.
I think the referees are confused as well.
Well, they didn't know who they called the foul on, if it was going to be for Hagan's foul or
on Rayleigh,
the Jets' foul, and either one was a foul.
The Jets, second shot up. Mavs leading by 2, 84, 82, 2:46 and counting. And we knew it was going to come down to a tie when Ben. Here we are. Back to the action. Rochester going right to left on the radio dial. And a moving screen by Holmes.
And Holmes knew it
against
immediately.
Hagan.
He knew it immediately too. As soon as he fell down, he's like, "Yeah, I moved."
Yeah, he knew it. He knew it. I mean, you know, these guys are professionals. They're not gonna try. You know, they're not actors. They're not gonna try and drag this out. Back to the action, left to right on your radio dial. The Mavs leading by 2, 84-82. Hagan gets it into the hands of the Jet. He is banging hard against Allman, trying to get free, but he cannot break free of Allman. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Jet trying to run some clock. Time off the clock, looks like the floater. Missed, but rebounded almost by the Mavs to Allman. Allman pushes it up to Crouch. He goes in for the right-handed lay-in. We are notched up at 84-all again as we approach the 2-minute mark in this contest. We called it, Ben. The final 2 minutes is going to decide it. Mike Crane, Nick Waddell, Hagan on the court for the Mavs. Up and under, missed by Crane. Jammed back in by Simpson.
I think that might be the spark we're looking for.
Mavs up by 2, 86-84. We just need a good defensive stand here. We got to hold them off. A turnover. Anything we can do to keep them from staying with us. It is that tight at the Sports Center. Mavs up 86-84. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Ball in the hands of Rayleigh working against Simpson. Turns around. Missed. Rebounded by Waddell. 122 and counting in the contest. It's going to come down to seconds, folks. The Mavs trying to work some time. Off the clock. Up by 2. 113 and counting. Hagan gives it up to the top of the key to Simpson. Simpson back to Hagan to the left wing. Hagan gets the high screen from Simpson down the right side. The floater and converts. Mavs up by 4. 58 seconds left. 88-84. Almost a strip by Crouch. Unopposed. Oh, my Lord. Council went in for the layup. He missed it. Unopposed layup, and then there's a tie-up on the floor, and a foul is called.
They were called on Hagan, landed on the ground. I think he grabbed him while he was going down. There was so much going on right there. The foul could have been anywhere, honestly. There was so much happening. But I like the refs letting them play all of a sudden.
Yes, they're letting them play all of a sudden. Let's not get ticky-tack. Let the players decide it on the court at the line for Rochester. Council for the first of 2. Shot is up and missed. Mavs leading by 4. 50.2 seconds remaining in the contest. Game 1 of the best of 3 championship series.
Free throws are killing them right now.
And with that, it looks like head coach Chris Iverson wants a timeout. We have a full timeout on the court. We're going to take timeout for a 1-minute commercial break after we remind you you're listening to Kentucky Mavs basketball on 102.7 The Game. ESPN Owensboro will be right back. Welcome back, Mavs fans, to one of the most exciting professional basketball contests I've ever had the privilege to be involved in. Our Mavs, Game 1 of the best of 3 series, leading by 4, 88-84 over the defending PBL champs, the Rochester Razor Sharks. 50.2 seconds remaining in this contest. Council will be at the line for 2.
He's already missed his first one. So he has one shot here to make it a 3-point, to make it a 1-possession game.
On the court for our Mavs as the fans erupt into a standing ovation as they return to play. It's Waddell, the Jet, Big G Gerard Devon, Ben Vazzola, and Chris Hagan are going to run the final 50.2 seconds Our Mavs leading by 4. One shot remaining for Council to cut into that 4-point lead by our Mavs. It is up and missed. Rebounded by Big G, Gerard Devon. Gets the ball over into the hands eventually of Hagan. Gets it across the timeline. He's fouled by Council, but nothing called. The Jet has the ball. Down to Vizzola. Vizzola into the lane. He's running time off the clock. Trying to get a foul. Allman did not get the foul. Hagan with the ball. High screen by Big G. 29 seconds. Back to Big G for the 8-foot shot. Oh, it's just missed, but he almost gets his own rebound. Knocked out of bounds. Turnover to Rochester. Mavs leading by 4. 24 seconds remaining in the contest. Inbound into the hands of McGill for Rochester. Rochester across the timeline. Crouch. Coast to coast. Right-handed lay-in. 19 seconds. 2-point differential. Mavs up by 2. 88-86. And a timeout by Rochester on the court. We're not going anywhere, folks. We're going to stay right here. I'm afraid if we even think about a timeout, we're going to miss probably the most exciting play of this entire championship series, Ben.
I'll tell you what, that was really smart defense by Gerard Devon, not trying to block that shot. Last thing he is the 3-point play happening. He made the layup, but now it comes down to who's going to make free throws. That's
right. It's going to be a hack-a-shack game from here on out. Luckily, our guys have great touch from the free throw line.
I expect to give it to Vizzola to make sure Vizzola's shooting the ball. I don't expect anybody but Vizzola to shoot this ball.
All right, we knew it was going to be a tie one here at the Sports Center. Game 1 of the best-of-3 championship series for the 2017 PBL title. Here's the scenario, folks. Our Mavs leading by 2. 88-86, 18.3 seconds on the shot clock. Now, your impression, Ben. They're going to try and foul immediately, which would be, or give them an opportunity to try and take a shot for a turnover. What do you think?
Well, 18.3 seconds left. If they don't try to foul, Mavericks have proven they can run the clock off really fast with Vizzola and Jackson running around. And so I expect to foul immediately and play the percentages game. You better hope you foul the right person, though, because if Vizzola or Gerard or Jackson get the ball to shoot, they're not going to miss. Gerard has one of the best shots as a big man to shoot free throws. I wouldn't want any one of those three to get that ball. You better hope someone else catches that inbound pass.
All right, they put 19 seconds back on the time clock. Shot clock has been turned off. Mavs leading by 2, 88-86. And we'll have possession of the ball as on the court for the Mavs. Vizzola, Waddell, Big G, Gerard Devon, Chris Hagan, Anthony the Jet Jackson, and it's Hagan to inbounds. He gets it into Waddell, almost loses it, maintains possession. Time is going off the clock, 16 seconds. Gives it over to Big G, drives in the lane. He is hacked hard, but a smart play by Rashard McGill to stop the clock.
They were trying to foul for an entire 5 seconds there, and the refs just refused to call those slapping fouls.
Yeah.
They refused to let them. I like it, let them play, but they finally got a hard foul. Like I said, Big G's got to make them.
Going to the line for 2 shots. Big G, Gerard Devon with the Mavs leading by 2, 88-86. These are without a doubt the 2 biggest free throws of his career. Trying to send our Mavs to Rochester with a 1-0 lead. First shot is up and good. Big G, I love it when he does that thing where he gets up on his tippy toes when he shoots the free throws.
I love seeing it. He's got awesome sock game today. That's just a sidebar.
Yes, he does.
I'm sorry.
We got a little red, white, and blue patriotic action going right there. Now, should he convert on this second one, it will be a 2-possession contest, so Rochester will have to answer quickly with only 13.6 seconds remaining in this contest. The shot is up and good. 4-point lead. 13.6 seconds remaining in this contest. 20-second contest called by Rochester. They're going to draw a quick play. Little time as possible off the clock to get the quick inbounds and shot off for a chance to cut into that lead, Ben.
And for the first time we get to see all game, Waddell and Rayleigh kind of got into each other. They're almost holding hands, just trying to get that rebound. And ball went through the net. So a 4-point lead, I think, is good for the Mavericks. I expect them not to even, I say, guard.
They will. It will be mock pressure enough to keep them from having a straight line shot to the goal.
The challenge is no 3-pointers.
Well, the best
gets
part
put
is
up as a three.
when someone's trying to bring the ball up the court, if you can turn them sideways, you get more time off the clock. If they have a straight line, they can get there in 3 or 4 seconds.
No threes can go up.
No threes can go up. That's one thing the Mavs have to do. You can afford to give up a 2-pointer, an inside and easy layup. Do not give up a rainbow three. 13.6 seconds remaining. Mavs leading by 4, 90-86. This has decided all. Game 1 of the best of 3. Council triggers the inbounds into the hands of McGill. Kicks it around the court for a 3. Missed by Crouch. Rebound eventually by Rayleigh. 6 seconds remaining. Bounced around into Crouch. Tries a Hail Mary 3. He misses, but Crawford is called for the hack, so he will be going to the line for 3 shots with 2.9 seconds remaining on the clock and a 4-point lead for our Kentucky Mavs.
I'm surprised he called that foul. All
I
the
really
minutes
am.
They've let
Yeah.
go by. They called that foul, but we'll take it. They have not shot free throws well. I'm expecting them to miss one of these. They have not shot it well at all.
At the line for the Rochester Razor Sharks. First shot is up and converted by Crouch. Mavs up 90-87. 2.9 seconds remaining in game 1 of the best of 3 series. Folks, we're getting our money's worth tonight. We knew it was going to be a good contest, and we have not been disappointed. And just like that, Crouch hits the second. Mavs up 90-88. 2.9 seconds on the floor to finish out the remaining 2.9 seconds for our Mavs. It's Big G, Gerard Devon, Nick Waddell, Mike Crane, Chris Hagan, and Anthony, the Jet Jackson, a small lineup, which is one you see because you want some ball handlers.
I expect them to get this ball to Devon as quickly as possible.
Shot is up, it's missed, time clock is running, and as time expires, our Mavs, hold on. Well, we celebrated way too soon. The referees are going to have one more opinion. All right, there was a foul called against Almond. So the Jet will be going to the line with no time remaining on the clock, but they will have some put back on. It'll be interesting to see how many tenths of a tick they're going to put back on, or if the refs are just going to go ahead and end the game.
I doubt they end the game. They're going to shoot free throws. I already called it.
He's going to have to let him go to the line, at least put it up. Now the big decision. 0.3 seconds. There we go. Thanks to Jason, the PA announcer, for letting us know.
With 0.3 seconds, there's not enough There's not enough time to catch and shoot. All he can do is tip. So
Now,
one free throw seals this game.
Well, all the Jet has to do is hit it off the iron, let it smack to the ground, and the clock starts running. It. Boom, game over.
Exactly.
All right, Mavs leading. 0.3 of a second left. 90-88. The Jet at the line.
The Jet will make both of these, though. I'll tell you now, he's not going to miss. He's not going to purposely miss one, that's for sure.
First shot is up and good. 3-point lead. If the Jet makes it, then it's over. Just run the clock out. It'll be a 2-possession contest, and 0.3 of a tick on the clock is not enough. Up, gets the clock going. Time expires. Our Mavs take game 1 of the best of 3 series. 91-88 over the defending 2017 PBL champs. And with that, folks, we're going to take timeout for a 3-minute commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to recap all the highlights and stats as our victorious Kentucky Mavs take game 1 of the best of 3 series. That's the scene shifts back to Rochester on Sunday. That's a 3-minute commercial break. After we remind you, you're listening to Kentucky Mavs basketball on 102.7 The Game. ESPN Owensboro. We'll be right back.